minds. We push what technology can do. So great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Somewhere around 400 feet off the ground, RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. When I first got out, I felt like my whole life had been smushed down to just medical appointments. I was going to occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. It felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you test it, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
Hi, I'm Peter Sagal. When we were growing up, my two brothers and I just loved our Uncle Ted. He was like a really cool big brother who always brought around the best toys and took us to the best places and with whom we always had the most fun. It was odd, though, when we got older, to realize he wasn't nearly as outgoing and adventurous with other adults. I found out much later that this might have had something to do with the ostomy bag he wore ever since he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease as a teenager and had part of his lower intestine removed. Theodor Skolnick, my Uncle Ted, died last year at the age of 80, never having once mentioned his illness to me or my brothers. He left a large bequest to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation to help fund better treatments for these diseases and also to help other people, old and young, seek and get help for the situation that he was never able to talk about. Don't feel you need to hide your Crohn's or colitis. Go to spillyourguts.org to learn more about the treatments available and even find a specialist. That's spillyourguts.org.
It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Interesting weekend in the world of sports, although I guess you could say it's a bit of the slow time of the year. We got an NBA Finals going on that right now looks like it's lopsided in one way, and that direction's the Boston Celtics. We do have the U.S. Open golf tournament this week from Pinehurst No. 2 in North Carolina, so that's nice. But for the most part, I guess the next couple of weeks before the NBA draft, a little bit of a slow time, but there's a lot to get to from the world of sports as far as the diversity of sports that we'll talk about here on this Monday morning. Welcome in to Sports 56 Morning. It is the Monday, June 10th, 2024 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you, broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. All types of great deals going on to get your summer started, including above-ground pools, plus everything you need for those pools, including filter systems, robotic cleaners and ladders, patio furniture, play gyms, patio umbrellas, all on sale at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Speaking of summer, the Big Green Egg is the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings, and that's a good way to get your summer going as well, grilling on the Big Green Egg. Currently, it is a very comfortable 63 degrees and lower humidity today, and that should be the case for the early part of the week. Sunshine today. The expected high is 86, but again, it will be a lot less humid with some breeze coming in from the north at 10 miles per hour today. So that's nice. 60 tonight for a low with mostly clear skies, and then tomorrow again, more sunshine with 81 degrees. The expected high tomorrow for your Tuesday. Coming up on the program today, we don't have any guests lined up, so it's going to be you guys and us. If you want to hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, you can do so at 360-8255. We'll talk NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals. We'll talk about decision day for Dan Hurley. As he said, it will be today. I have a feeling he's already made his decision. Today will actually be announcement day. Unfortunately, more news. It's not always the greatest news when it comes to Caitlin Clark. We will talk about that on the program today. The UFL, the first UFL season, the championship game is set for Sunday. As I mentioned, it's the U.S. Open this week on the golf circuit, and Scottie Scheffler goes into the U.S. Open with another win as he takes care of business at the Memorial. We will discuss that. We got some more news from the portal, players moving, players going, coming, and we had a big weekend for the University of Memphis as far as recruiting is concerned for high school seniors. They had a couple of really good players visit, including a 4-star quarterback that we talked about last week in Antoine Hill Jr. All these topics and more coming up on the program today. How are you?
I am fabulous.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's an interesting weekend. Had a big event Saturday night I went to with my wife. Had fun with that. Brought one of the grandchildren Sunday over to the zoo. You can never go wrong with the zoo, especially with the splash park they now have. And so that
You were out there splashing.
I wasn't splashing.
Oh, okay.
He was splashing. My wife was splashing. I was baking, sitting there
You
in a
should have
chair.
been splashing.
I went over a couple of times because I thought I was going to pass out. But it's really nice. It's a nice little splash park that's, it's not as big as those water parks, obviously, but it's not some little dinky thing. And it's nice. So we did that on Sunday, spent some quality time with one of my grandchildren. The other two actually are on the beach right now, getting ready to come back to Memphis. So, yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. Like I said, it's kind of there's a lot of things going on, and some more important than others, but just not, I don't think a lot of things that excite the fan base here, to be honest with you. I don't think too many people cared about the French Open final on Sunday, the men's final, although it was an epic 5-setter with two of the young stars that will take over for the Djokovic's and the Federers and the Nadals, but they're foreign. Nobody cares. There was the Dodgers and Yankees wrapping up their series last night in New York, where the Dodgers took 2 of 3, so that was pretty cool. And then there was the London series between the Phillies and the Mets. They split 2. The Super Regionals going on. So again, if diversity is what you want as far as your sports is concerned, you had it. Everything from tennis to golf to baseball. Basketball-wise, the NBA Finals, which we'll touch on in just a second, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be the close competition that I thought it would be, unless Dallas can figure something out as they head back to Big D for Game 3 on Wednesday. Before we get to that, Mr. Zach Boyd, how was your weekend, man? What you do?
Oh, weekend was fine.
Yeah?
Matter of not fine. It was great. Took a trip down to Huntsville for the weekend.
Did you go to the space thing?
Yeah, we did.
How was that?
It was crazy. It's crazy how a bunch of humans can get together in a room and said, let's build a spaceship, and then just build it on that scale.
Right.
I mean, it was a lot of fun just seeing everything.
My kids went there with my wife years and years ago when they were little, and they loved it. I still haven't been there. I'd like to just go there to see it, even as an adult, hopefully with the grandchildren one day. But, yeah, that blows my mind, that type of stuff. All those dudes, like Musk is going to build this supercomputer in Memphis. The people that are putting that together when they start to, like, what? Like, how do you even... I've been watching this How Disney Built America or something like that. It's a series about Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, he comes up, Mickey Mouse and all that. That's one thing. But how they put together the parks, which started all the modern parks that we have now, right? Disneyland, and then really when Disney World was great. How they built, like, the mountains and the Cinderella's castle and all the things that they have to do, the angles they had to take way before we have the technology that we have today to build these things. They talked about the I forget what it's called, the one where the Himalayan mountain and they have the roller coaster through it.
Talking about Splash Mountain?
No, it was before Splash Mountain. It was out of Disneyland. I forget what it's called, but they didn't have all the modern stuff to be able. They had to like use their intellect to come up with the angles to do these. It just blows my mind. Like you said, with a spaceship.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're going to send this thing. We're going to build this thing, We're going to shoot it up into the air. It's going to go to the moon. Like, what?
No.
I still can't comprehend how we can go in our car and plug in an address and it gives us the directions exactly to that place.
Yeah, we got a chance to walk underneath. Was it Saturn V? They had it broken up into like sections, and so we're just walking underneath it. We was just like, it's like, how in the world they get all of this stuff hooked up and say, guys, I think we're ready.
Exactly.
We're ready to put this
How
into
about the
space.
first astronauts were like, yeah, we'll be the guinea pigs. We'll go up. Shoot us up in this rocket. These people that created everything, that were, the start of aviation with the Wright brothers. Yeah, let's go up there and just fly around a little bit. I don't care how it wasn't obviously 35,000 feet in the air, but you crash, you're dead. And these people had the cojones to do that stuff. I can't even hammer in a nail straight. Start hammering the nail, goes crooked. I'm like, well, how do they even do it straight? Hats off to all those people. So I'm glad you had a great weekend. That's a really cool place. I've heard a million times. Like I said, my family's been there. I haven't been there, but that's great. And you were doing what? Playing golf?
Played golf, couple of different. Played golf Friday, played golf yesterday, spent some time at the pool. So otherwise, just did a little yard work, hung out, enjoyed a lot of the college baseball action.
It's a good weekend.
Not enjoying a lot of Major League Baseball action because the Cubs suck, but other than that, it was good.
Phillies split with the Mets in London, and the second game yesterday, they had the bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 1 out, and Castellanos is at the plate, and he hits a dribbler. I mean, like a foot in front of the plate. And the catcher for the Mets, I forget his name, is it Rojas? He picks it up. He tags, steps on the plate, gets drilled, throws it to Alonso, a little bit low. Alonso has it. Double play. Phillies lose. The dude's like limping in the greeting line at the end. It was a great play. I hated that it was against the Phillies, but it really was a really cool play. Interesting because a lot of reaction to London. The players love it. And Bryce Harper said that there should be more teams, like a round-robin tournament, play more games, less days off. Because they go over there, they play a game, they have a couple days off, and they play another game, or whatever the case was. And they said, even Francisco Lindor, the Mets, said, there's just too much time in between.
They go over there Thursday, and they don't play till Saturday.
That's what it is. But they go over, and I would think that they would love that they go over and that they go sightseeing. I assume they bring their families and enjoy London. But I like Harper's idea of having 4 teams over there doing a little round-robin thing. London likes baseball. They're getting, into it. They obviously love football. The talk about having a Super Bowl outside of the United States is ludicrous, in my opinion. But that conversation is a topic for another day. We open up, though, talking about the NBA and the NBA Finals. Game 2 last night in Boston. The Celtics hold off the Mavericks 105-98 and grab a 2-0 series lead. Boston was a 7.5-point favorite going into this game. They win by 7. It's amazing what these Vegas guys can do. But the Mavericks were able to rally late in that game. I don't think they're ever going to catch Boston, but there was the play in which Derek White made the unbelievable block of P.J. Washington. But replay would tell you that Jaylen Brown probably got away with a push in the back before the block took place. Foul was not called, so the block was good, and Boston would end up putting Dallas away. I didn't understand also, again, you could look at it and go, technically it was over, but there was like 25 seconds to go, and they're not fouling. Dallas isn't fouling at the end. So for those who picked the Mavericks like myself, very disappointed with the play of just about everyone other than Doncic. And Doncic took the blame for the loss. He said, my missed free throws, my turnovers, that's what a leader does. He had 32 points, 11 assists, and 11 rebounds. He had a triple-double. Yeah, is he the best version of Doncic? Maybe not, even with the triple-double. But he was very, very good. Kyrie has not been as good as he should be, and he needs to be. But the other guys, the auxiliary players who were so good in previous series, especially that Minnesota series, P.J. Washington, Gafford, although the numbers were okay, they were okay. Gafford had 13 and 9. But you combine Lively, who has not been good, Kleber, Washington, Gafford, they got to be much better. The Boston 3 through 5, 3 through 6 are just so much better than the Dallas 3 through 5, 3 through 6. And that's the difference. Because Tatum hasn't been great, but he's been good, and he's put up a lot of different stats. His numbers yesterday, 18 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds. Nothing wrong with that. But Boston is so good, Tatum doesn't have to score 25 to 30. Jaylen Brown had 21 and 7. He doesn't have to score 30. Derek White had 18 points, 5 rebounds. Drew Holiday was incredible. 26 points, 11 rebounds. The moves that Brad Stevens made in the offseason when they were able to get Holiday, when they got Porzingis still not 100%, but comes off the bench, gets him 12 and 4 after scoring 20 in game 1. There's just too many weapons.
You know, I mean, to me, it just simply comes down to Boston's elite defense. Dallas gets nothing easy. You know, Kyrie is used to being able to get to the rim, get easy buckets. He can't do that against these guys. They are, Washington, Derek Jones. They're not getting as many wide open looks as they got in other series. Boston is just an elite defensive team because they've got elite defensive players. Especially the two guards with White and Holiday, and then you throw in just the athleticism and everything else of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and the problems they can cause. And then you throw in a guy like Porzingis on the back line with his length when he's in there. For Dallas, it just seems like to score is just like they have to work so hard for anything they can possibly get. There's just no easy buckets, and they are clicking on the defensive end, knowing, and I think, even when Luka gets it going, I think their kind of thought process is that's fine. Like if Luka can do that, but if nobody else is helping him, we're still going to win these games. So he's going to make shots. He's going to make some tough shots against us. That's fine. Like you have to live with that. But as long as Kyrie doesn't get it going and these other guys aren't getting wide open looks at threes, we're going to be just fine. And they do seem to always have somebody kind of step up and take that scoring load. It might be that Jason Tatum has it going on a given night, or Jaylen Brown, or it may be that Drew Holiday. And Holiday talked about it after the game, the willingness of Tatum, who draws so much attention, to hit him with that, and he goes 11 of 14 from the field because of it. They're really, really good. That is a team that is very well constructed on both ends of the floor, and we'll see what happens with the Porzingis injury. He says he's going to be okay for Game 3. However, he will have some imaging apparently done today on that leg. If he were to miss games, does that change the series at all? I don't know, but this is a really well-constructed basketball team.
It's one of the great defensive teams ever put together. I know the Pistons had the amazing bad boys and the great defense they played. And even when Michael was winning championships, when he was winning championships with Rodman, with Michael, who first of all was a great defender, and Rodman, they were a great defensive team for the most part. But there is not a weakness with this Boston team, and you're absolutely right. They don't have to double team. Doncic can get his 30. As long as those other guys don't step up, and they haven't stepped up, Boston's going to win the game. Boston was outshot percentage-wise from the field. They were out-rebounded. Again, it was close, but they were out-rebounded, and still won the game by 7. They also won the game by 7, shooting 10 of 39 from 3. That's 25.6%. If Boston shoots 32, 33%, they win by 20. Now, Dallas, on the flip side, only shot 23.1% and hit only 6 of 26. Luka hit 4 of 9. So the rest of the team was what? 2 of 17? 2 of 17. from Kyrie and from Jones and from Washington, the secondary guys that have really stepped up for Dallas have not been there. And Kyrie's found it tough, and Luka's certainly found it tough, but he's been able to make shots falling away, and his size getting some mismatches that he has with Derek White and is able to take advantage of it. But like you said, Kyrie's got to be absolutely frustrated. I don't know what they can do to flip the script, even though they're going back home, and it's still very much a series because the home team hasn't even had an opportunity to play at home, meaning the Mavericks. But there's just too many weapons. When Holiday is open, he hits the three. He was 11 of 14 from the field. This guy's known for his defense. Wasn't he the series MVP when Milwaukee won?
Don't
you know,
remember.
Zach, was he the series MVP?
No, I thought
Was
it
it Giannis?
I think Giannis. I can't remember.
Okay, maybe Giannis, but I mean, double check on that. But Holiday was great. I think people forget just how good Holiday is. He gets 11 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Oh, and then you got Derek White out there who's open, and he's hitting 4 out of 10 threes. That's 40%. Oh, and they got Porzingis comes off the bench. And Horford, who's still, at his age, more than just a reliable old coot of a veteran. He's a sustainable part of this team that has been integral when Porzingis has been out. Horford at, 37? Something like that? Quality minutes from Horford. And he doesn't have to score much. And again, Tatum, 18, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, and a steal. Oh, Tatum's off his game. No, Tatum is just doing what a good player does, a leader does. He's deferring. He's getting the better quality, the higher quality shot. He took 22 shots. His shot's not there, but it's still, he does other things. And Jaylen Brown is a hell of a defensive player. So when people make the argument, Brown versus Tatum, it's not that ludicrous. Not at all. Now, for Jason Kidd to say something, and, for Kyrie to say, I didn't even think it was that loud. I was booed that loud in game 1. Why do you guys say things like that? Not that it would have made a difference, and I don't think it made a difference at all. But, the kid, even though I can understand what Jason Kidd's saying, why even say it?
Well, Kid's hoping to try and, it's a little mind
You think he's
game
trying to get those two?
He's hoping that he'll get Jason Tatum trying to do too much, those types of things.
You think it was strategic?
Absolutely, I think it was
Those
strategic.
two have an unbelievable relationship, Brown and Tatum.
Dallas understands, they're undermanned in this. He's going to try whatever he can to try and get Boston off their game. The thing is, Boston, this kind of was the game 2 dud.
Yes.
They just won it.
Yes.
At halftime, you knew it was bad at halftime for Dallas when Boston was 3 for 13 from 3-point range and still led the game.
Right.
If you weren't winning after that first half, you probably weren't going to win the game. Boston, is going to shoot a bunch of threes. That's just that's what they do. They normally make a bunch of threes. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. They make more than anybody, shoot more than anybody, and they make them at a pretty good percentage. But when you've got them shooting that poorly, that's usually when they lose the game. We've seen them lose many of these games at home in the playoffs because they have a terrible night shooting the basketball. Last night was that terrible night. It's just that Dallas was more terrible in shooting the basketball. And, Tatum, the one, to me, if you watch the way teams guard Jason Tatum, you see why he's better than he's constantly getting double teamed. Teams understand. My thing with Tatum, my problem, I've said before, the only real problem I have with Jason Tatum, I think he settles for threes too much because with his size and athleticism, that dude should be able to get to the rim a lot more, and he can. He just does. He kind of settles for it because he can get a three off at any time too because of his size, everything else. He can shoot a three over anybody pretty much. I think, especially on a night like last night when he's 1 for 7 from three, to me there should be a lot more of that going to the rim and creating and stuff. But he is a very good passer. When he passes out of double teams, he's a very willing passer out of double teams and sets up a lot of easy buckets for guys.
Yeah, I understand that. But you could also argue that Jaylen Brown is as good or a better passer, and he's a better defensive player. He's not the prolific scorer that Tatum. He'll have big games, but Jaylen Brown is right there with Jason Tatum. He's right there with him. And, yeah, maybe Jason Kidd tried to do that strategically to get them off their game. It's not working because Tatum and Brown are two incredibly gifted players who are team players. There's no selfishness with those two guys. And certainly there's no selfishness when you look at a Holiday and a White and a Horford. These guys they know their roles. Boston know, and that's why you got to give a lot of credit to Stevens and the front office for putting this team together. You know, Joe Mazzulla, I don't know if he's a really good coach. I mean, I feel like I could probably do pretty well with that team. Coaching, I'm not going to take anything away from Mazzulla, but I'm also not going to say he's the next Greg Popovich. I mean, that team was built for success. I just thought that Dallas coming in red hot, having beaten Minnesota, and I was bought in on Lively and Gafford and Washington, and then I thought they get Kleber, they got another big back, that they could battle Boston's bigs, but I did not expect Boston to just go man-to-man and just slow down and at times completely stymie the Dallas offense. Josh Hart made an interesting point yesterday. He was on the halftime and post-game, pre-game coverage on ABC, the New York Knicks, Villanova Wildcat. He said that he believes that it will be more advantageous for Dallas off a miss to get down the court and go into the offense, not half-court offense. Take it to the hole, get a quick shot. Don't allow Boston to get back into position to set up their half-court defense. Because once they set their half-court defense up, it makes it harder. But he said, easier said than done because that's Doncic's DNA. Doncic is he's not Ja. He's not taking it to the rim, and he sets it up. And he slows it down. And they're not having success, for the most part, in the half-court offense. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, Boston is one of the 2 or 3 best defensive teams in the league. And again, when you have the ability to switch, you have 4 guys out there who can switch easily onto anybody.
Right.
It's hard to run half-court offense against them and get open looks. So, but it's also hard to. It's not easy just to beat him down the court either. Like, wait, we saw what happened to P.J. Washington. Thought he had him beat down the court, and what happens? They get your 2 guys block you from behind. So, Boston's playing extremely well. Like, they were the best team in the NBA for a reason. They're playing well, even though they didn't shoot the ball well. They're playing great on the defensive end, and getting enough offense out of guys. But if you're Dallas and you can't get to 100 points, gonna be tough to win these games.
Should it have been a foul called?
Probably. I mean, you can't really tell how much he actually is pushing him versus maybe it's just a hand setting on his back. I don't know. It
looks worse in slow motion, doesn't it?
It's hard to say. I could certainly see why an official didn't call that in real time. Like it all happened so quickly, and the block up top was clearly clean by both guys. So it's that's a bang bang call. And again, when you see it and break it down, is his hand on his back? Yeah. Is he actually pushing him, or is his hand kind of just sitting there? It's hard to tell.
Well, I hope for the sake of all the fans out there that we have a competitive series. That would be nice, because you turn around, you watch a competitive NBA Finals that goes to 6 or 7 games, and then the draft is upon us. If not, it's going to be a slow next couple of weeks with it inevitable that Boston is going to win. The question would be, can they go down to Dallas and just take care of business and end up winning this thing going away? The way it looks right now, they haven't even played their A game, and Boston's up 2 games to love. Well, maybe the Dallas Mavericks, maybe the Boston Celtics, after last night, it wasn't the most prolific shooting night for either team. Maybe they need to take their talents to shoot 360 Memphis. From preps to pros, this place is just a cool place to go to and perfect your shot. Challenge yourself, compete with others, and learn the proper ways to shoot the basketball using modern analytics. So parents out there, grandparents, coaches, if you're thinking about something this summer for your children, your grandchildren, your players, this is the place. It's also great for adults. It's the same system that stars like Steph Curry use. It's a revolutionary training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve shooting skills. The facility is equipped with advanced shooting machines that provide real-time feedback on shooting accuracy and arc and depth. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. Players of all skill levels can benefit from the personalized training programs that they offer. They are opening in the next couple of weeks at their new facility in Cordova. The floors have been going down for the last few days. They've been putting that down. The equipment will be rolled in, and they'll be ready to go. You can sign up for a membership for Cordova or sign up for a membership at Collierville, or you can do both. The Collierville facility will remain. To register, to sign up, to find out more information, to take a tour, give them a call at 901-316-5500 or go online to sign up today. Shoot 360 Memphis. It's where the preps and pros go to get their shot on. Shoot 360 Memphis. Just underway on a Monday. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Hi, folks. I'm Bert for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. It's our 35th anniversary of Sunrise, and we're celebrating with savings that are bigger than ever. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from with huge savings. It's a used car buyer's dream. Check it out at sunrisememphis.com. Hundreds of used cars and trucks with a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $20,000. Bad credit? It's okay. You're approved at Sunrise. Remember, we specialize in secondary financing. New cars and trucks aren't free, but at least they're affordable at the 35th anniversary sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Coming from Pike, Blue Chase, and Collierville.
Free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. $1 through $6.19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Spot, Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in town Memphis. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's still taking some getting used to with this 55 bridge that's closed for the next couple of weeks. It will, however, catch a lot of people still off guard there coming in from Arkansas, West Memphis, and have to use the I-40 Hernando de Soto bridge going eastbound this morning. It has picked up a little bit more volume over there because of that. Traffic still moving on 55 up through South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. This bridal season, make sure you stop by Weimer's Jewelry first at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:33 the time. So I'm sure there'll be a little show, and Dan Hurley will be on the show, and Jim Gray will host. And Dan Hurley will announce, I'm taking my talents to fill in the blank, Los Angeles, or I'm staying in Storrs, Connecticut. Decision day today. Although I got to think Dan Hurley knows already what he's doing. I think it's more the announcement day today. Will he go to the Lakers with a healthy offer? Nothing concrete out there, but the rumors are that it's a $100 million offer to take over the Lakers. As Adrian Wojnarowski said yesterday, the Lakers made a compelling case. Actually, Dan Hurley said Lakers make a compelling case, or made a compelling case, and Woj talked about that it is, a very lucrative offer. But Dan Hurley also has had quite the success so far at Connecticut. Very comfortable, two-time defending champions. Should I stay or should I go now? As somebody once said. We'll find out today.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's anytime you've got that type of money on the line, it's just hard to say no to that. I mean, and I think Dan Hurley is probably torn because he is very comfortable and understands that he has a chance to do something historic at UConn and going for a three-peat. But when you just see those types of zeros and understand it, listen, I can go there and get fired in 3 years and walk back to college and get any job I want pretty much. It's hard to turn that down. So I don't know. It's it'll be interesting to see. Bet Online has him going to the Lakers at minus 400 and staying at UConn at plus 300. In the end, money usually wins out. So again, even though I said before I would be a little surprised if he does it, as I said, there's always a price that's going to make you do, even if it's not what you really, truly would want to do if everything was equal.
It's so interesting that they haven't a prop on that. Danny Hurley, plus 300 to stay at Connecticut. So tell all your friends and family members to prop down some money on whichever way you're going, Dan. My wife knows my decision. All of a sudden, wait a minute. Dan Hurley's wife bet how much on him staying in Connecticut? No, it's just, look, I know the money he's making now as a head coach at Connecticut is pretty darn good. There's not too many jobs out there for you and I and Joe Q Public to make $5 million a pop or $4 million, whatever it is, $4 or $5 million, and that would increase every season with security. Unless you do something extremely off-putting, you are going to have stability and longevity with that job. Not necessarily with the Lakers, not necessarily in the NBA, but Does that type of money, earth-shattering money, offset that? Because you're not thinking, I'm going to go in there and fail. You're thinking, I'm going to go in there and succeed. Do you have the weapons to succeed? What's going to happen the first time there's some adversity and you and LeBron have it out? Don't do it publicly. My advice for Dan Hurley. Do it behind closed doors. But I don't think everything will be peaches and cream. So you got to take all that into consideration. But also, as we talked about when this news first broke, that's who they were going after, there's a lot of players on that UConn team. Some who have returned for another season, some who have committed to Connecticut from some other schools through the transfer portal that are waiting with bated breath right now as to what's going to happen. If he leaves, they get 30 days to decide whether or not to jump in the portal and go somewhere else. And then they have to replace Dan Hurley with a coach. So there's a lot at stake here for Connecticut. For the Lakers, yeah, there might be, I wouldn't say a lot at stake. There's certainly, there's some at stake, some things at stake, because this is the guy they want. But LeBron James, as long as you retain him and AD and add some pieces and you bring in another coach, you're going to have the same product on the court. Dan Hurley's not going to change, in my opinion, the product on the court. He'll do some things differently, but I don't think the Lakers go from 5th through 7th, 5th through 8th best team in the West to all of a sudden best team in the West because Dan Hurley comes in. But you lose Dan Hurley at Connecticut, it's going to change a lot of lives and change the fortunes of that program. And that program is what carries that athletic department. It's certainly not football. Football's hemorrhaging money. So this is a big decision for both, but really more importantly, in my opinion, for Connecticut. They lose him, you're going back to the drawing board.
Well, it's just the timing. I mean,
right.
Losing your coach in June.
Exactly.
In a college setting, and especially with the portal the way it is now, can be an extremely difficult thing. Because you got to hire somebody quickly. You got to hope they can hold on to some of these guys and keep a roster together. So it's, for UConn, it is a very difficult task. Now, is it like, oh, the program's dead? Well, no. I mean, whoever they hire tends to win national championships, so they probably think, we'll go hire another guy who will come in and, given time, he'll get us competitive and we'll win again, just like we have with every other coach who comes through here.
They have proven it. They have proven it over the years. And while UConn's name doesn't pop up in the blue blood conversation, maybe they should be a new addition to the blue blood conversation. They don't put the money and the effort into football. They've elected to do it with basketball, and they've had success under a number of different coaches. So, yes, I think that they could find the right guy eventually and all that jazz. But for the time being, for the immediacy, it's a disaster.
The thing, too, for Hurley, if his thing is, and he apparently has said that he would like to someday coach in the NBA, I mean, coaching the Lakers is, again, pretty darn cool. Like, if you're going to go coach in the NBA, getting that opportunity to do it with the Los Angeles Lakers and coach LeBron James, it doesn't get, again, while they're not like, you're not taking over a team, in my opinion, that is going to win a championship, that you could just walk in there and win a championship, even though that is the expectation when you walk in there. But, like, just to say, like, I'm the coach of the LA Lakers, and I'm coaching LeBron James at the end of his career. Like, beside the $100 million they're going to pay me, which is a nice little bonus, that's a pretty cool way to walk into the NBA and achieve one of your career goals and dreams.
No question about it. There's no question that's one that you mark off on your list of to-dos. I got the coach in the NBA, and then I got to coach LeBron James. And who knows, maybe you'll have success right off the bat and have a long career as a head coach in the NBA. Billy Donovan has had a long career in the NBA as a head coach. Not a championship, but he's been there a long time. There's other coaches that have gone in and have had mild success or some that have failed. And, that's something you want to take into consideration. The other thing is he is a Northeast guy. He's from Jersey. He's been working in stores. Now, do you want to go out on the West Coast? Weather-wise, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But you're going from in stores, I would imagine, pretty easy life. The metropolitan New York area is just around the corner where you can go into the city anytime you want. But you're living in probably the country. You go to Los Angeles, while there are beautiful places to live all over the place, you're still dealing with LA. You're still dealing with congestion on the roads. You're still dealing with smog. You're still dealing with a lot. But you also have the beach. You have the mountains. These are things that I'm sure he is considering, but his wife and his family is considering even more. Is where do they want to live? His brother went to the desert from New Jersey, and he's been there a long time. So I'm sure he can lean on his brother as far as, living out in the western part of the United States as opposed to the Northeast.
A texter says Danny Hurley might be great for Bronny if LeBron lets him coach him. Well, if you believe the reports, which again, it makes sense. Like the things that the Lakers like are his player development and his offense. That's the things. And with your Lakers, with where they are cap-wise, you're going to have young players play on these teams, basically,
no
because
doubt.
you got to have some cheap guys. You're going to have some cheap guys playing when you're spending the money you are on LeBron and Anthony Davis and company. But they love his player development, and if they do go with Bronny, then certainly I'm sure they look at that as a good guy to have there to try and develop that. But it's all of those young guys, because again, they're going to have some.
Texter's absolutely right. He's known for developing these young players that come in as freshmen and build them into the players that they are. Whatever the reason is, first of all, they're really good players. I mean, he's getting 4-star, 5-star guys. He's getting the top of the line guys. But they are buying into his system. And while he may be a maniac out there on the court, from everything I've heard is he is great with these players. They love playing for him. They want to be coached. Most players want to be coached. They don't want to be embarrassed. But they will take criticism and guidance and all that if they can become a better player, and that track record shows that. So I agree with the texter. It's going to happen. LeBron is going to be there. Bronny is going to be there. Whether or not Dan Hurley is going to be there, we'll find out later today. And I don't know what Connecticut does for the future. It's obviously a job that I would think a lot of coaches would want to coach at because of the success they've had with 3 different coaches in just the modern basketball history since 2000, for goodness sakes. But for this year, I guess you elevate an assistant coach.
It depends, like what I'm sure they'll look at hiring from outside. I'm sure they've got some names on that list ready to go that if he decides to leave, they're going to make calls. But they may not be able to get somebody that they really want at this time. It might be Bill Murray's son,
Luke Murray.
He could be the guy that's up. That they elevate, and maybe they do something as an interim for 1 year. I don't, I would think they would want to hire a permanent coach, but who knows what that list is. I mean, I'm sure they're ready to go, and as soon as Dan gives them the word, if he's leaving, that they'll be on the phone. Because again, you got to try and hire somebody quickly to immediately get in there and start recruiting the current roster to. I mean, again, this is a team that's has a chance for the three-peat. It's not like this is like they lost everything and they got no talent. Like this is a team that absolutely has a chance to three-peat. So you want to get somebody in there quickly. And again, probably attractive for another coach, even if it's like late in the game and all that stuff. And they may not be thinking about leaving. Like, wait a second, I get to take over that roster of the 2-time defending national champions? Hell yeah, sign me up for that. I'm gone.
You know who I would go after, but there's no way that this coach would do that because I think he loves broadcasting, 1, and number 2, it's a rival. Jay Wright would not go from Villanova to UConn, but that's the guy I would be on the phone with. But I think there's a good chance they end up elevating a coach for a season and give him an interim tag. I don't know what's out there, what's available, but they will leave no stone unturned if he does make that decision today.
The one name that Ed Cooley people brought up like that would be, some people say that's the first call they should make when they get to him. Because he can coach. I don't think because he's a good coach.
His first year at Georgetown, I mean, he's a good coach. There's a lot of good coaches out there. He's coached in the Big East. Is that why? First call should be Jay Wright. First call, second call, third call should be Jay Wright. But Jay Wright's not going.
Yeah.
You still should make the call.
They should call Phil Jackson, too, but he's not going to come.
I don't think Ed Cooley's going to leave after 1 year at Georgetown. Maybe he would. But then you start to worry about the character of a coach that just drops a team, drop of a hat, just leaves like that.
For a way better job, why wouldn't he? It's a way better job. I'm not questioning his character for leaving Georgetown to go to UConn.
Well, right now it is, certainly. But people forget there were some good years for Georgetown. They once were a power.
Yeah, and since then, UConn has won 5 championships.
I know. But the hope is, that's the hope. That's why they brought Ed Cooley in, to turn things around at Georgetown.
This hour of our program is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Fired up the Big Green Egg last night. Smoked some wings. Absolutely delicious. That's my favorite thing to cook on there, but you can cook all kinds of different stuff. Heck, you could even bake a cake on the Big Green Egg if you want. Go to biggreenegg.com. Get all the information you need to know about the best grill there is and all the egg accessories that can go with that, including rubs and sauces and all those things, which I used them as well last night on my wings that I was cooking on my Big Green Egg. Absolutely the best grill there is and the last grill you'll ever need to buy. You can also find it at Ace Hardware stores in town, Hamilton Fireplace as well, the Big Green Egg.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsofMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quirky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. but we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Verga's Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
So Mike DeCourcy from Sporting News has a list of possible replacements for Dan Hurley if he leaves to go to the Lakers. And number one on his list is Steve Peichel from Rutgers, which makes a lot of sense. Northeast guy. Basically, Rutgers and Piscataway is in that general area where the Hurleys are from.
And who has some fantastic recruits coming in this year that could possibly bring with him, I'm sure. And they're going to be they got one of the best recruiting classes in America.
And a guy who might be able to keep some of those guys at UConn. Number two, Shaka Smart, Marquette. I don't see Shaka Smart leaving Marquette. TJ Otzelberger from Iowa State. Very good coach, well respected, has had chances, I think, to leave Iowa State, or at least his name has popped up in some searches and hasn't. But he's been very successful. Billy Donovan, Chicago Bulls. Do you see Donovan going back to college at all? Unless he's fired from the Bulls?
Well, I mean, if Kentucky did truly contact him, he didn't go there. I don't know, would he want to go to UConn? But I think Kentucky's about as good as it gets. So I would guess probably not right now.
Shaheen Holloway, who went from St. Peter's, had the great run to the Elite Eight in 2022, then went to Seton Hall, so another Big East coach. And then Patrick Sellers from Central Connecticut, so right there in that area, that general area. John Becker from Vermont. That's the seven that Mike DeCourcy has on his list.
Texter on the Sisley's Log Cabin listener line talking about Game 2 of the NBA Finals last night said, number one, Tony Brothers' ref crew was determined not to call fouls committed by Boston players. Well, Boston only ended up, Dallas had 2 more fouls than Boston. 17-15 was the foul count, so I don't know. Number 2 for the Mavericks is playing like a chicken with his head cut off. That would be Derek Lively.
Yeah, Derek Lively was one of the reasons why I picked Dallas, because he was so good against Minnesota's huge front line with Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, and now he's playing, as the texter said, kind of timid.
Well,
he's fouling a lot. He's kind of lost out there. He's getting boxed out. I've been watching a lot because I had a prop bet, and I watched him get boxed out so many different times to try to get a rebound.
A lot of the Gafford and Lively success against Minnesota and others is they catch a million lobs.
Right.
Boston is so good defensively, it's you can't. A lot of that is Kyrie or Luka breaks down their guy, gets in the lane. Big guy has to come help. They lob it up over the top, easy dunk. Boston, there just hasn't been that. Boston does a good job of taking that away. Again, they're just that good defensively, so those lobs haven't been there like they were against Minnesota. Number 3, Dallas small forwards are downright dreadful on offense and defense. Well, last night, Derek Jones Jr., P.J. Washington combined 1 for 8 from three-point range. And again, that's basic. P.J. Washington didn't shoot a great percentage in the other series, but he always seemed to make that big one. Like late in a game, close game, it seemed like he would get a wide open 3 in the corner, and he made it like every single time. Now, this series, they haven't been close games to really get him that opportunity. But again, he's also just not getting the open looks because, again, Boston is making sure that he's not getting those wide open looks.
No, both can be correct. I think you're absolutely right with the way they're being defended, but I think the texters are absolutely right. And that's what I said really to open the show, is that Boston's 3, 4, 5, 6 are so much better and playing so much better than the Dallas 3, 4, 5, 6. You could take out Tatum and Brown and Doncic and Irving. I know Kyrie has not played up to snuff, but take them out. And then just look at the rest of the guys. Look at Holiday. Look at White. look at Porzingis, look at Horford, and compare them to Lively and Gafford and P.J. Washington and Jones. It's not even close. It's not even close. That's why they have no problem letting Doncic go for 30, 35. And they're all hard-fought points, by the way, fall-aways and things like that. But they don't mind. They don't need to double him because they're not worried about anybody else.
If you thought those Dallas guys were going to outplay those Boston guys, you were crazy to begin with.
I just thought that those guys...
The Boston guys are just way better.
I just thought that... Here's my thought process. Gafford, Lively, two bigs who dominated the Minnesota bigs. I know what you're talking about with the alley-oops and things of that nature. But that they would dominate, in my opinion, Horford, and I didn't know if Porzingis would even be close to looking like he did in Game 1. So I thought they would dominate the front line. They would go in there. They would have their backs to the bucket. They'd get it inside to them. They'd get N1s. They'd be fouled. They'd go to the free throw. They're not even getting the ball. Doncic is, again, being single covered, not double covered, and still having a tough time getting the shots off. Now, he still went for a triple-double, 32, 11, and 11. Kyrie, as you mentioned earlier, is finding it hard to get to the hole because they switch, and then they'll also drop somebody into the paint when he's driving to make it hard for him to get there. It's just an amazing... We are seeing one of the great defensive performances I have seen in a long time in an NBA final.
If Dallas is going to win games and is ever going to win the series, it was simply going to come down to it was going to be Doncic was going nuclear and Kyrie was basically going nuclear.
Yes.
That, the other guy, again, Boston's just way better after the top two. But they need, Boston doesn't have to have their two guys be incredible. Dallas has to have those two guys be incredible.
Yeah, but Boston's winning this series because 3, 4, 5, and 6 are dominating. It's not because Brown and Tatum are dominating.
Exactly, but they were always going to be way better than Dallas's 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Town Village Audubon Park, senior living in today's world, located at 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue in the heart of East Memphis. They offer more options to fit your needs more than ever before. They are dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and the quality of life for their residents. All they ask is that you're 55 years of age or older. So if you're thinking about your future, your golden years, the future of a loved one, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, whatever the case may be, think Town Village Audubon Park. Give them a call at 901-537-0003. Make that 0002, 901-537-0002, and ask for the tour and explore the facilities. Take a look for yourself or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com. Independent living, short-term respite stay available, monthly options as well. So you don't have to tie yourself down to a long-term lease. You can go monthly. Great event schedule, activities galore, amazing food, everything you need to continue to enjoy life to its fullest. All the modern amenities you want for your loved one. Monthly rental, no buy-in. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, all-inclusive resort-style dining, multiple venues, bi-weekly housekeeping, plus a community social area which features a fitness center, home theater, game rooms, indoor pool, whirlpool, bistro, 24-hour pantry, plus 5 landscape courtyards, resident gardening areas, a dog park, and gated parking. That's just some of the amenities. Check them out today. Town Village Audubon Park, 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue in the heart of East Memphis, 901-537-0002, or online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. Hour 2 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of business in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called God Hopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing. It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together. You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Just a couple of accidents in their clearing stages out here in the last hour or so as that traffic increases even more in the last few minutes. 55 coming up through South Haven, working your way up from DeSoto County, wrapping up that wreck at Winchester and Mendenhall as traffic increases through the Midtown area on 240 northbound over here at Lamar. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:06 the time. Hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 67 degrees. It'll get up to 86 today. Lower humidity, sunshine. Should be a pretty nice day. Then tonight we're looking at 60 for a low, mostly clear skies. Second hour of the program brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. Your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Each Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know 4-star quarterback Antoine Hill Jr. did pay an official visit to the University of Memphis over the weekend, along with some other players, some really, really good players, including, I'm told, a player who had already committed to Penn State, a running back, an offensive lineman who played with Antoine Hill in high school. So over the weekend, he responded by saying he thought the visit went very well. He is from Houston County High School in Georgia, 6'5", 215-pound quarterback, a Max Preps All-American. So again, good luck to the University of Memphis as they continue to try to bring in not only some of the top players in the area, but some of the top players in the country. And we'll see what Antoine Hill Jr. decides to do. He's being looked at by a number of schools, including a bunch of schools from the SEC. James Gaddis Jewelers, your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Father's Day is this Sunday. Get Pop something nice. Get him a beautiful watch from James Gaddis Jewelers. They have all types. Variety is the spice of life, and there's guarantee you there's something that you'll love for dear old dad at Gaddis Jewelers. Layaway and financing is available. They got 2 repair experts to help you with fine watches and jewelry. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Well, what's a couple of days without another controversial story involving Caitlin Clark of the WNBA's Indiana Fever? She was not selected for the U.S. Women's Olympic team, although it is not yet official until tomorrow. I know there was a WNBA player that came out, what's her name, Ionesco? Sabrina Ionesco. She came out and said, well, it's not official. The team is not officially announced until Tuesday, but more than likely she's being left off.
Well, Caitlin Clark has said they called her and told her she's not on it.
Okay,
so but she's not on it.
You never know with the reaction there has been that they change their minds, because they do things sometimes. The Olympic committees for different sports do some things that are just mind-boggling at times. To me, this is not mind-boggling. I looked at the team. I saw the players that were on the team and the talent that was left off the team. She is a rookie in the WNBA. Yes, she's the all-time leading scorer in college. And I know in the past there have been players that were rookies in the WNBA that made the Olympic team, or Christian Laettner playing for the Dream Team out of Duke. I understand that. Could she have been on the team? Yes, certainly. No question about it. I am not going to die on this hill as far as Caitlin Clark is concerned. She said all the right things when she was interviewed about it, basically saying it's something now, to strive for. She wishes them well. This is a great team. This team will win gold no matter if they have Caitlin Clark or not. So I don't mind that, but I do believe politics have played a major part in why she's not on the team. Frankly, I tweeted this out over the weekend. The first thing that came to mind, in my opinion, is they don't want her on the team. They know it's going to be a distraction, so why bring that distraction in? These are veteran players. There's a couple of young players, certainly, but there's a dislike for her. I don't want to say hatred, but there is a dislike for her. And chemistry is what it's all about. And winning is what it's all about. Not exposure. It's the Olympics, right? They're going to be good. They're going to be great no matter what. So I have no problem with her not being on the team. People think it's like the worst decision in history. I'm not buying that. But don't tell me it's because she lacks the talent. To me, it's because they feel that it will be a chemistry killer, that there are still a lot of players and players on that team that don't care for her. And I'll stick to my guns on that.
Yeah, I certainly don't know the history of the selection and who's normally been selected and not selected for our women's team. All I know is our women's team is going to win gold no matter who's there. because we're just way better than the world in women's basketball still. It's not
Yes.
even close.
It's not like the men who have caught up. Some countries, the women have.
I will say, I kind of assumed that Caitlin Clark would be on the team. But again, I hadn't put any thought into it and didn't know what traditionally kind of the players they've selected, and they've gone with all of the veteran players. There's nobody under the age of 26 on the team. So, okay, that's fine. Whatever. If that's the way you want to go, I'm completely fine with that. Caitlin Clark is completely fine with that and understands it. Now, if Caitlin Clark's not on it in 4 years, I'll be surprised. But we'll see how things go between now and then. I don't think Diana Taurasi can play till she's 70, but she might. I don't know. But yeah, when it came out that, and I kind of assumed they had already selected the team. I didn't know when their selection was. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh wow, Caitlin Clark not on the team. Like that's weird, but okay, I don't know anything about how they normally select this team, so maybe this is normally the way they go. And for her, it's not a bad thing. I mean, she has been playing. She really hasn't had a break. I mean, from the college leads right into the WNBA season. And she obviously went all the way to the end, playing a lot of minutes, everything else in the college season. So her to get the break in the middle of the WNBA season when they take the break for the Olympics, probably a pretty good thing for her.
Somebody needs to remind Brittany Griner not to bring any pot with her or any type of narcotics. I'm not sure if it'll be as bad in Paris, but they probably frown on that as well.
I will say, I don't know what their rules are, but I'm going to guess it won't be as bad as Russia.
It won't be as bad as Russia.
I'm going to live and say Paris is not as bad as Russia.
Still, take no chances, Brittany. Take no chances as far as that is concerned. All right, so the College Baseball World Series is nearly set. We know 7 teams. There is one more to be decided today. And, oh, guess what? There are 4 currently from the SEC, 3 from the ACC, and the game today, which will feature North Carolina State and Georgia, is an ACC versus an SEC. So again, Captain Math will tell you, if Georgia is able to knock off North Carolina State, there'll be 5 SEC schools and 3 ACC schools. If NC State can beat Georgia, and there have been 2 blowouts so far in that series, 18-1 Georgia, 18-1 North Carolina State, 11-2 Georgia. But if North Carolina State wins, then there will be 4-4.
Yeah, pretty impressive for those 2 conferences. What they continue to do in baseball, and this year no different than that. And there was some fun. The Tennessee Evansville game on Saturday was so much fun to watch. The Florida game yesterday with was it the 13th they ended up winning it? I don't remember what, but it went over 5 hours long.
It was the 13th inning.
I mean, there was some there were some blowouts. You had Florida State putting up 24 runs on Friday, and you mentioned the NC State Georgia, the way those 2 games went. Heck, the first game on Saturday, NC State had, it was like 10-0 after like 2 innings. But there were some great games, some fun games over the weekend. But in the end, yes, those two conferences continue to dominate the world of college baseball.
There was 2, maybe 3 relatively low-scoring games where you could say it was a pitcher's duel. All the rest of the games either were high-scoring games by both teams or absolute blowouts by one team over the other. I've never seen so many runs scored in my life. These are the best of the best, and there is relatively no pitching. It's a hitter's game today.
Well, there's no doubt. And again, it's hard on these staffs. Now, like game 1s shouldn't be like you shouldn't be giving up 24 runs in game 1. These staffs get stretched out, all that stuff. I mean, it could be tough this time of year. My biggest problem with it, we have got to calm down on the ejections for any guy who celebrates anything that happens. Mm-hmm. Like you somewhat flip your bat and they're looking to eject you from the game. Can we just chill out? Like they're playing for something. Like it means something. Like let them get excited when they do something good. It is amazing to me how like it's just immediate. Like guy hits a home run. Oh, did he look at the other team's dugout? Oh my God, I think he looked at the other team's dugout. He's got to be ejected from the game. Like, what? Like, come on.
No, I'm with you 100%. Although in that Florida-Clemson game, which Florida ended up coming back and winning 11-10 to eliminate Clemson, they were warned. Both benches were warned. Now, I agree with you. Why even warn them? Let these guys celebrate. Let them have some fun out there. But in this particular case, they were warned, and then the dude flipped the bat that took the lead. Clemson. It was the Clemson home run in the top of the 13th inning, and the guy flipped the bat. I don't think he was ejected, but they ended up ejecting both coaches, I think. I think there were 2 ejections, and then Florida won at the bottom of the 13th. But how about Dave Neal, the broadcaster, and what he had to say?
He's right.
He's absolutely right on. For those who don't know or didn't hear what he said, he was criticizing the NCAA and the whole deal that they don't find out. And you and I can attest to this. We do baseball, that it is hard to get information. So they were guessing. Their guess was that the guy flipped the bat and they threw him out. He never got thrown out until they finally were able to get him that information. How hard is it to get that information to those broadcasters, especially a nationally broadcast game on a network?
All they got to do is give the umpires the microphone. Put them on the microphones. They should be announcing everything anyway. When they do the replays, they should be announcing it on a microphone, not giving the hand signal. Just tell us what you reviewed and what the result is. And if you eject somebody from the game, get on the microphone and tell us who got ejected from the game and why they got ejected from the game.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Right.
It's a very simple concept.
Well, we're seeing it more in the NBA now when the official comes over and makes the announcement. Obviously, there's a lot of transparency in the UFL. There was in both the USFL and XFL, now in the UFL. So the more transparency, the more acknowledgement of what happened, not only are the broadcasters well informed, but the audience is well informed, whether it be the audience live in the arena or watching it on television or any other means of the way they're watching it, streaming it or radio, whatever the case may be. I'm with you 100%. So I thought what Dave Neal said was right on. But to get back to your original point, yeah, come on, within reason. Right? Let the kids have some fun.
Like if
hit a home run, flip a bat, who cares?
Like if he stands there in front of the other team's dugout flexing.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe let's kick him out. But, I mean, a guy flips his bat in the air and we are freaking out about it. Or we're breaking down. Like, wait, was he looking at his dugout? Was he looking at their dugout? Or wait, was he looking at back of the catcher? Was he, it's like, I mean, we're playing for something. Like, kids get excited when they do something good. Let them be excited, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I agree. But getting back to my point about scoring, Friday. So Friday, again, you figure your aces are pitching. Florida State, UConn, 28 total runs, with Florida State scoring 24 of them. Tennessee and Evansville, game 1 of their series, 17. North Carolina, West Virginia, 14. And then Virginia and Kansas State, 11 total runs. That was the best for the pitchers. Then you flip to Saturday, and you have Tennessee and Evansville winning game 2, 10-8. So there's 18. There's 18 in Florida State UConn's game. That went 12 innings. There was 19 in the NC State-Georgia game, with NC State scoring 18 of them. There was 16 in the Texas A&M-Oregon game. There was 17 in the Florida-Clemson game. There was 14 in the Virginia-Kansas State game. Kentucky was 10-0. So give credit to the Kentucky pitchers because they shut out Oregon State. And then you had a legitimate pitchers duel. North Carolina beat West Virginia 2-1 on Saturday. You come back on Sunday. Georgia and NC State 13. Florida and Clemson 21 in 13 innings. Tennessee blitzes Evansville 12-1, so 13 there. Texas A&M wraps it up against Oregon 15-9, 24 there. And then Kentucky beat Oregon State 3-2. So either Oregon State is not that good, or what I said on Friday, give me Kentucky plus 900 to win the College Baseball World Series. It was plus 900 was those odds. I am liking Kentucky more and more and more because they have shown pitching in what has been no pitching in these super regionals. Today you got NC State and Georgia, game 3 in Athens. NC State again won the first game by the score of 18-1. And then Georgia came back and won yesterday 11-2. Two non-competitive games. Hopefully there'll be a competitive game today. But again, this is all about the SEC and the ACC, as we thought it would be, because each had 5 schools in the not Sweet 16, but in the Super Regionals. Really, the Sweet 16. 16 teams remaining, 5 ACC, 5 SEC. Now you have where you're going to have all 8 of the teams in Omaha, either from the ACC or the SEC. That's impressive.
And they might, the 5 SEC teams that were in Super Regionals may all advance. If Georgia wins today, they might go perfect.
That's right.
In the Super Regionals. And again, they're looking for their 5th straight title with 5 different teams, which is amazing in itself. And again, we talk so much about football and everything else, but I mean, in baseball, what the SEC's done in baseball, and then they're going to only get better by adding Texas and Oklahoma, and then what they are in softball, and they're only getting way better and adding Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, the SEC in these sports, it's just like the dominance gets a little crazy.
Florida, according to Connor O'Gara, when he tweeted this out over the weekend, 11th best team in the SEC.
Yeah, they only finished they were 1 game above 500, I think, coming into the NCAA. Now they were a top 5 preseason team. Like they may just now be. It could be. It's a lot. It might be like the Ole Miss team from a couple years ago. Very highly ranked, expected to be great. Didn't have the regular season that was expected. Sneak into the NCAA tournament, and then kind of get everything together and play like you're supposed to, play like your talent would tell you that you are. Whether that happens with Florida from here on out or not, but it could be that. But they were not very good during the regular season and snuck into the NCAA tournament at 1 or 2 games above 500, and now they're playing like the team that everybody expected them to be in the preseason when they were top 5 team in the country.
Certainly not the SEC's problem, but does it hurt having 2 conferences represent Omaha, as opposed to there's no schools out west? Do you think it's going to crush ratings and things like that? Television viewing?
No, I don't.
I mean, SEC people will watch certainly, and so will ACC people. But
and those people support those baseball programs. I mean, people want to see the best teams. I don't think it matters where they're from.
Do they? Do they always want to see the best teams? I don't know, man. I think certainly fan bases of certain schools or regions or conferences, if they don't have a representative, they turn it off.
Texter says these college baseball games last forever, most 3+ hours. They change pitchers every other inning and review every halfway close call. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
I know that firsthand.
I guess it was the Tennessee Evansville game on Saturday. There was the 1 inning where they had like 4 reviews, like within like 3 hitters. Because they had the one hitter who they said he leaned his knee in to get hit by a pitch, and then they came back, and then there was a play at first. Like, it was just constant. Like, they kept challenging plays. I'm like, my God, can we just get a call correct and not have to review it to see what happened? It was that half inning took like forever and ever. No, yes, college baseball, the pace is, it is absolutely ridiculous.
Look, I'm for getting things right, but it's ridiculous. Major League Baseball has done everything they can to quicken the game. Although we know it's baseball. Baseball can have a 5-hour game and a 2-hour and 12-minute game, right? It's baseball. There's no time limit. But they have done everything to speed it up. College baseball is the opposite. It's the opposite. There's too many challenges. There's too many looking at replay just about every play. That game between Clemson and Florida yesterday went, 5.5 hours?
It was over 5 hours. I don't know what the final time was, but I know when at one point they said we are now over 5 hours.
Yeah, I did a 6-hour game. 5 hours and 58 minutes this year with Memphis and Wichita State. That's crazy. 13 innings, not 25 innings, 13 innings.
The visits to the mound, like as I said, the pitching changes. I mean, it can get tough to watch because it's just, you're like, please, can we just get this game moving? Yep. The throws to first. That's the one. If they want to adopt some of the major league stuff, limit the throws to first and make the pitchers face at least 3 hitters.
I'm with you.
that if college wants to do some things to try and speed up the game, and I don't know if they're motivated to at all, but those are two things they could do because there is a million throws to first in college baseball, and pitching changes it's ridiculous how often they're changing pitchers.
Sure, a number of you folks enjoyed little Corky's over the weekend, whether you went over to one of their 4 establishments or carried out and brought it home or had one of the services deliver. You can have that done at Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. They can cater events. They've been catering as long as they've been in existence, which is basically 4 decades, for that delicious slow-smoked barbecue, all the fixings. They can start you out as low as $8.99 per person. So inquire about their catering services. Add a third of a rack of ribs for $7.99 when you purchase a barbecue sandwich, their award-winning catfish plate, or any of their entrees. Party packs start at just $7.49. Lunch specials every single day. Located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Goodman Road in Olive Branch. A Memphis staple, a Memphis institution. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Everyone is loving what they are doing at Genesis Diamonds right now. Hi, it's Eric Hasseltine inviting you to get the ring of your dreams and take advantage of 0% financing for 5 years. You can get a handcrafted designer ring with a GIA certified diamond for only $100 a month. Wedding bands, color bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. Pick any item, pay $0 down, and spread your payments over 5 years. Don't miss this amazing offer. All natural and lab-grown diamonds included. Now through the end of June only, and only at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now at O'Reilly, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Treatment for $9 and receive 2 times O Rewards points. In-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We saw some flashing lights over there a few minutes ago at West Rains, right near Weaver. Again, looks like more of a police situation. It looks like it's still catching some folks off guard there, coming over from West Memphis with the 55 bridge remaining closed for the next couple of weeks. It's finally picked up out here with some volume just in the last few minutes on 240 right around Sam Cooper, working your way up towards Walnut Grove. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:31 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. If you'd like to hit us up, we have no guest scheduled today. Plenty of time to take your calls and texts at the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. Same number for both, 901-360-8255. You can do what Mike has done. Mike, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, the major tournaments, the U.S. Open and golf, PGA, who makes the decision on what course they're going to play? Number two, why do they keep using the same courses over and over again? And three, is there a chance that a course in the Memphis area could have a U.S. Open or PGA?
Okay. Thank you, Mike. We'll talk about that. Question that we've talked about before about Memphis and hosting a tournament. Well, I would imagine with the U.S. Open, it's the USGA, and they do have a rotation, as does the PGA to a certain extent. So that's why you see similar courses over the years come up, whether it be Baltusrol, whether it be where they just played in Louisville, Pinehurst number 2, the Ocean Course at Kiowa. But it's a committee that decides on where they're playing. With the British Open, I would imagine that's the Royal and Ancient. They have a rotation as well. The Masters obviously is all played at Augusta National, and the PGA is the PGA of America. There's committees that decide on these courses. Now, whether or not new courses can be added to the list, I think they certainly can. I think if they've had good experience at these courses and have had good events, that they feel like they should come back. But as far as the area, I remember when what's it called? Spring Creek was built. People talked about that. It's a great golf course. But we talked about the infrastructure. There's no big highways to get there. It's little side streets and things of that nature. It's, what is it, Raleigh, Millington, whatever that road is out there. It's not big. It's one lane in both ways. Is it a course that's good enough? I don't know. I know it's a really good course. TPC is not going to be, these TPC courses are never going to host those kind of events, but it's good enough to host a FedEx Cup playoff event. We're talking about TPC Southwind. Other than that, no. They're not going to have one at Ridgeway. They're not going to have one at Memphis Country Club.
No, there's not. I mean, no, you're not going to see a major tournament here in the Memphis area. There's not the course to host it. And yeah, I mean, when they find these courses, I mean, these are some of the great courses in the world and in this country. Like when they find courses that they like, they go back to them. And yes, do they put new courses in there? Yeah, they'll insert new courses and have majors there, and then that course might be a part of the regular rotation, or it may be kind of a one-off thing. But yeah, I mean, the Pinehurst, the Oak Hills, Oakmonts, now Quail Hollow has gotten involved in the rotation on the PGA. Obviously Pebble Beach. I mean, all of these golf courses, Torrey Pines, like they're great golf courses that stand up well to a major test. Like, that's the whole thing, especially with the U.S. Open. They want courses that really stand up to what the U.S. Open is supposed to be. And when they find these great courses that do that, they're going to go back to them over and over again.
Yeah, that's number one. They're great courses. They're great courses that they can make tougher for the U.S. Open, because they don't want to make it as tough for their members, but they do want to make it that tough for the U.S. Open. So that's number one. Number two, that they have the infrastructure, that they have the facilities to be able to put on something like that. And then number three, it would be once they've gone there a time or two and they've had the success, they don't want to mess with anything else but successful venues. But they do and will add. I'm looking at the future here.
Like, the U.S. Open is set through 2051.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
They know where they're going. And Pinehurst is hosting it.
Oakmont next year. Oakmont next year. Then they'll go to Shinnecock Hills in 26. In 27, they're back to Pebble Beach. 28 is Winged Foot, I believe. So, yeah, he's right. Mike's observation is absolutely correct.
Riviera's getting it in 2031. They haven't hosted one since 1948. So it's not all. They'll throw some of these others in there. But yeah, I mean, they are set through 2051.
Well, I didn't know it was that long.
Of knowing where the U.S. Open is going to be. I'm not sure how far out the PGA is on their sites and who's, again, they just did Quail Hollow a few years ago for the first time. Now it's coming back again. So again, that's another one kind of thrown into the rotation. But yeah, again, they're just looking for the best golf courses that stand up to what they want their tournament to be.
And it's similar to the LPGA Tour and their majors. Now, they have, I believe, 5 majors, which is also the same for the Champions Tour, which is the senior golfers. And I'm not sure if they have 1 or 2 that's the same course every year. They may or may not. But they're going to move the U.S. Opens around, the U.S. Women's Open, the U.S. Senior Open. They're going to always move those around. But the one that Doug Barron just won down in Birmingham, I'm assuming that's at that same course?
Yeah. It's always at, was it Greystone, I think it's called?
Yeah, it's regions with the sponsorship. But that's not out of the question in the future, but you would have to have more infrastructure. And I don't even know if they would want to have it, Spring Creek Ranch, if they'd even want to host something like that. But that would be the one that would stand out. It's just not easy to get back there and park and things of that nature. That all has to come into play.
Basically, with the U.S. Open, Pinehurst is hosting it every 5 to 6 years. Oakmont is hosting it every, basically, 7 to 9 years. Pebble Beach is getting it every 5 to 7 years. I mean, those are the most regular of their rotation.
Yeah, and I can tell you with PGA, because
Marion's got one every 10 years. They've got it in 2030, 2040, 2050. So they're in there every 10 years. So, and then they got to insert these others around those main ones.
Yeah, and I can tell you with the PGA, they use the Ocean Course at Kiowa once every 8 to 10 years, because I've marshaled there before, and they're on the list to come back. I don't know what year it is in a few years again. So, yeah, there's some that certainly fit better for the PGA rather than the U.S. Open. But that's basically what it is. All right, speaking of the U.S. Open, that's coming up this week at Pinehurst number 2.
PGA, by the way, looks like they're through. Well, they've got them all through 2031, and then they've got also 2034 set.
Okay, so we'll talk plenty of U.S. Open this week. Scottie Scheffler wins again. Wins the Memorial over the weekend in Ohio, Jack's tournament. He wins his 5th event in the last 8. 5 wins in the last 8 events for Scottie Scheffler, which is unheard of. Now, I know back in the day, Byron Nelson won, 9 or 10 in a row. I understand that. But in this modern day of golf, the absolute domination of one guy, Tiger, of course, was the last one that probably did that with those types of years. But Scottie Scheffler has won a major, the Masters, the Players' Championship, which is considered basically the 5th major, the Billy Preston of golf tournaments, and then 3 elevated tournaments, including Arnie's tournament and now Jack's tournament. In between, he got arrested. He's won $24 million on the course this year. In earnings for these tournaments he's played in, he's won $24 million. Doesn't count any endorsements and things of that nature off the course. And he will be the prohibitive favorite going into the U.S. Open this week.
He just continues to play the best golf out there. His ball striking is just unbelievably good. He made the triple bogey on Saturday. Still came out of that with a 4-shot lead after making a triple bogey during the round. He certainly didn't. And yesterday, he didn't play great. But the lead was big enough that he was able to hold on to it, and he made, the key putt on 18 that he had to make, and he's just He's really, really, really good. And right now he's just better than everybody else on tour, bottom line. And yeah, so if you any tournament that he's in, he absolutely has to be the favorite. He's just, right now better than everybody.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And again, we'll talk more about it as the week progresses, as we get set for round one on Thursday. In the meantime, there was some positives coming out of the discussions on Friday between the members of PIF and the PGA Tour, that they are starting to make little small increments of progress. I don't know what the end goal is. Nobody knows. But at least they're having more discussions and positive talks. 1 year after they said they were going to be able to get together and they were going to merge and whatever was going to be, it was going to be kumbaya. Remember, it was a year ago. It has not materialized up until this point, and there's still a ways to go. But at least there was positive coming out of the discussions on Friday from both sides.
We've got a couple of texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line that were on the College World Series, the college baseball that we'll get to coming up after our break. If you want to chime in on anything we've talked about, you can. 901-360-8255, 360-8255. Folks, if you're getting out there running, walking, exercising, you want to make sure that you start with shoes that are just right for you. And the folks at Fleet Feet will do that for you. You can go see the folks at Fleet Feet either in the Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis or out in Collierville, Poplar, Houston, Levy, next to Huey's. You go in there, they take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and they'll get you fitted with shoes that are just right for you. Plus everything else that you need, all that other gear, well, they've got you taken care of with that as well. Also online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, on social media. They keep you up to date with things they've got going on, like their group runs and other things that you can get involved with. They're all about runners. They're all about the running community at Fleet Feet.
All right, as Eli said, we'll get to your text when we return. A little bit from the Stanley Cup Finals as well, as that is underway. And a bone that I want to pick. I'm gonna jump into the Varlas's arena here. Each and every Friday, he brings us his segment, and that is included a bone that he likes to pick, something that really is irking him, getting on his nerves. There's something that's on my nerves, too, that I'll get off my chest a little bit later on in the show. We got plenty of time to take your calls and texts as well in the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255, and we'll get to those texts when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff in Collierville with good news for car and truck buyers. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys available with 9 models that get 30 miles per gallon. GM rebates up to $5,000, and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Bad credit? It's okay. You're approved at Sunrise. Immediate financing, top trading, and a $3 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks under $20,000. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston Levy. Together, let's drive.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
With a cast of returning stars ready for the big stage. The momentum for Memphis football is on the rise. It's time to so purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on a shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding and a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call CraigGranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Tigerville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Eli, trouble for the Canadians. And I don't mean the Montreal Canadiens. I mean the country. The Edmonton Oilers lose Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals at Florida 3-0. They'll play Game 2 tonight, but the Panthers are leading. The Americans, Florida's never won a Stanley Cup title. They lost last year in the finals to Las Vegas. And it's been, 31 years since a Canadian team has won? The Oilers in trouble. Wayne Gretzky ain't walking through that door tomorrow.
Told you Florida was going to win the series. I'm a hockey expert.
You are Mr. Hockey.
Some text here on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. Drew texts me, says, this will be the first time since 1948 that only 2 conferences are represented in the College World Series.
Wow.
It's a long time. Long time ago.
76 years? My gosh.
Now, granted, the conferences are a lot bigger now, so it helps to be able to get that many teams there because you got 16 teams in these conferences or 14 teams rather than back then they probably had 8.
Wonder what the first year of the College Baseball World Series was.
So back then, you think about it, in 1948 to only have 2 conferences when you probably had like 8-team conferences? That's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if there was still, if 8 teams have always gone to the College Baseball World Series. If it's always been 8.
I have no idea if the format has changed through the years.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Another texter says, college baseball is nothing but passion for the game, way better than the pro game, in my opinion. The fans are crazy about it. Listen, I like college baseball. I like watching college baseball. I enjoyed watching it this week. It's just, again, there are times it just drags and drags, and the pace of the game just grinds to a complete halt. That's the bad part about it. But I enjoy watching it. But I do think the pace of the game and the length of the games probably turned some people off, just like why Major League Baseball wanted to speed their games up, because people get turned off when it just goes on forever and ever and ever.
There is a passion. There's no question about it, especially in this neck of the woods. But there are other programs that are trying to get more of a fan base. And to get more of a fan base, you have to provide, first of all, an exciting team, but also the facilities and the things that come with the facilities, because baseball can get boring. And when you have these games that last forever, I'm telling you, there's going to be people that don't want to spend time in the sunshine baking, watching a 4.5-hour game.
Andrew says, safe to say college baseball will be adjusting the bats again here in the next few years. I think they don't want the blowouts, but I don't think they mind the runs being scored.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I know that Memphis, Georgia Tech, and a few others use this new 44 bat, and Memphis hit a bunch of home runs. So I don't know how lively those bats are. I don't know. I know we've had issues with the aluminum bats over the years. There were times when it was just the bat was dead, It wasn't doing anything. Then there's been times where it's been very, very lively, but you're not going back to wooden bats. The cost effectiveness of aluminum bats make it the choice. Sure, they would love to be able to have a wooden bat league, or college baseball be wooden bats, but you're talking about going through so many bats in the season, so costly to a program when they don't have that kind. Now, there are programs that have the money, but certainly most of them do not have that type of money for that expense.
And I want, when they first made the adjustment to the bats and they went too far, and then they kind of brought them back a little bit. I think they're happy with where they have the bats right now.
I think so.
Again, yes, there's a lot of runs being scored. Again, I don't think that makes them think, we got to deaden these bats a little bit more again, because I think they're afraid they would go back the other way where they go too far, and then you got no runs being scored, balls that going anywhere, and that's not fun for anybody. I think they'll stay. The part of this, I think, again, goes to, there's always talk every year, especially at the SEC tournament, like these teams that already know they're going to be a high national seed hosting all of that stuff. How badly do they really want to win the SEC tournament, or would they rather have a bunch of time off for their pitchers? Because I think that as you just get along later in the year, and if you go through these long conference tournament runs, everything else, your long regional run, everything else, by the time you get to super regionals, you just got a bunch of worn out pitchers that aren't so you end up with the offense looking a lot better than the pitching does at this time of year.
That's true. Very rarely do you have three incredibly gifted quality starting pitchers. And then bullpens certainly get worn down. You may have a closer, you may have a setup guy, but then the middle relievers are giving up gopher balls. And the other thing is, hitters are not intimidated anymore. Pitchers aren't throwing at the hitters, probably because they'll be ejected. But two, the hitters now come up there with armor on. They got elbow pads. They got everything. Shin, they got this, they got that. The helmets are different. It's a whole different ball game. When back in the day, Gibson was thrown at you, and you had that little tiny plastic helmet that they put ice cream in after the game. It was just a different ball game. Now you go up there, okay, you don't want to get hit by a pitch. And mind you don't want to get hit in the head, but still, even the helmets are more protected. You got face covering. It's a lot easier to go up there now and take a fastball somewhere on the body than it was back then. It's just different. You're going to more than likely hit a pad of some sort. So that's why you got, but that goes back to even the major leagues with Barry Bonds. With all the armor he wore and just leaned over the plate, was not intimidated like it used to be.
Raider Corey texts in, says sports was and is still meant to be fun and enjoyable. Since when did this become a sensitive matter where celebrations aren't welcome or frowned upon? It's ridiculous. Grow up and man up or find something else to do. It's just, I have no idea why, especially in college baseball. I've said all forever. College baseball players, worst group of DBs there is in sports, without question. And now, like, the umpires feel like they've got to protect them from somebody on the other team celebrating. So now we start ejecting guys over celebrations. I mean, you're hitting a go-ahead home run in the ninth inning to possibly send your team to the College World Series, and you're supposed to just set the bat down on the ground and jog around the bases without making eye contact with anybody out there. It's like, goodness gracious, just let the kids have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I understand you're trying to avoid any type of confrontation where the teams leave the bench and it becomes a brouhaha. But yes, I mean, come on, let them enjoy themselves. Let them have fun. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with Corey. I wanted to run this clip. Zach's going to run this clip. This was from the London series. Phillies and the Mets went 1-1 in their two games. And I talked about this in hour one, how the second game on Sunday ended. It was crazy. The Phillies had the bases loaded. They were down a run, and Castellanos was at the plate, and it looked like they were going to continue the misery of the Mets with another win and a walk-off win in front of all the Londoners that were there, over 50,000 strong. But the Mets end up winning the game. But this is the broadcaster from England calling baseball, and this was really incredible.
With the pressure on his shoulders, and Castellanos' bat explodes, and they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end! The a shattered bat. The runner out at home plate, and the ball fired into the glove. And the first baseman, Pete Alonso, and the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win Game 2 in London 6-5. 17 hits. What drama, what a game, what a finish.
Such an improbable finish.
What a call. Jolly old England. That was fantastic.
Love the English accent.
Oh, my God. It just makes everything sound like it's more important. That was a regular season game. I know it was in London. But it wasn't like it was the World Series, and that guy made it sound like it was the World Series.
Brad in Texas said, not a Bryce Harper fan, but the tribute to soccer after his home run was cool.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Bryce doing the slide on the knees after hitting a home run. Of course, in college baseball, he would have been ejected.
Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly and his family own this company. They got great workers to take care of your lawn, and they can do so today. Just give them a call at 901-867-5626 or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. They're not a lawn mowing service. They're a lawn treatment service. They treat your lawn all year long. They control the germination of weeds by applying right now post-emergence during the summer months and pre-emergence during the winter months. So they're taking care of that lawn even when the grass is dormant. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. They're really good at what they do. So if you got issues with weeds, call Lawn Solutions today, 901-867-5626, or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Ah, June. It's wedding season.
It is.
Or as I like to call it, Free Central Barbecue Month.
Who's what?
Well, not that I don't enjoy weddings. I do, especially the ones that I can tell are going to be a disaster. But what I love about weddings is that so many people choose Central Barbecue to cater the food at the reception.
You root for marriages to fail?
Not exactly root. I just enjoy drama and free barbecue. I like to sit there and enjoy my plate of Central Barbecue with beans and slaw and wait for things to blow up.
At the reception?
Ideally. I mean, I won't be around to see it otherwise. Plus, free Central Barbecue.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Available only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's been quiet so far as accidents go out here on the major interstate routes. It has picked up a little bit more volume just in the last few minutes coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County on 40 westbound. Here at Chambers Chapel, Canada Road, continuing all the way up to Sycamore View Road. It is taking some getting used to on 55 there where the bridge is closed for the next couple of weeks. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:02 the time. Final hour for us today here on this Monday, June 10th, 2024 edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg, Eli, and Zach with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Looks like it'll be a very nice day. We've hit 70 degrees. It's going to get up to 86, but lower humidity. And then tonight, clear skies, 60 degrees. Should be very comfortable. Tomorrow, high of only 81. I say only. It's still going to be warm, but again, lower humidity in the forecast. Mostly sunny skies, minimal chance of precipitation. So that's nice weather-wise. Third hour of the program brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. They are now open at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Their big warehouse. They made the move up from Hernando to Horn Lake. They're closer to the metropolitan Memphis area. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. Family-owned and operated local business that specializes in flooring and carpeting and all types of flooring and carpeting, all different styles and colors with their granite, their porcelain, ceramic and porcelain tiles. They got the SPC and the WPC vinyls. These are scratch-resistant, waterproof, top-of-the-line, hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters and blinds as well. So contractors out there, you're building homes, right? You're looking to put what's in the home. It's got to be certainly of high quality, but you're also trying to make it economically sound. Well, at Jenkins Floors and More, they sell it wholesale. Skip the middleman, save you lots of money. For all you homeowners out there, if you are looking for a different look, just give them a call today. They'll come out and do a free estimate for you. They will bring you the samples of what it will look like. Jenkins Floors and More will come to you. So you're saving money with it being wholesale. They will do the job in 2 weeks, a 2-week turnaround, which is unheard of, and you're getting quality work from a very reputable company. So call Jenkins Floors and More today, 662-469-9350, or stop by and see them at one of their 3 locations, including 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake, Mississippi, open Monday through Saturday. It's Jenkins Floors and More. The UFL Championship is now set for Sunday, this Sunday in St. Louis, the first ever, featuring the USFL champion. Oh, surprise, surprise, the Birmingham Stallions, who rallied to beat the Michigan Panthers 31-18. But this is a surprise. The XFL champion, the San Antonio Brahmas, 410 total yards of offense. They beat St. Louis in St. Louis in front of a huge crowd, 25-15. So you got San Antonio and Birmingham in St. Louis. That's unfortunate for the UFL. If it was St. Louis, probably over 40,000 people. Now, probably less than 10.
Yeah, I'm sure the league is not real thrilled that St. Louis will not be playing in that game. But kudos to San Antonio. They were, I think in the preseason, they had either the worst or second worst odds to win the championship. And obviously now are there. Birmingham going to be tough to beat. Birmingham tends to win a lot. Their game Saturday, that third quarter of that game was drunk. I mean, it was
turnover city.
It was just unbelievable. Like every time, like every possession seemed like was a turnover. It was incredible. They went back and forth turning the ball over in the middle of that quarter. Like they had 6 turnovers in one quarter combined. which seems impossible, but they managed to pull it off. And then Matt Corral comes in and rescues Birmingham. And Adrian Martinez is probably going to be named the league MVP today, although he got pulled and Matt Corral came into the game and won the game for Birmingham. I would assume that Adrian Martinez will go back to being the starter again this week for the championship game, but it's just funny that he goes out of he pulled, Corral comes in to win the game, and then today they're going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, he's the MVP of the league.
Yeah, it was the right move, and it gives Skip Holtz something to think about. Yeah, I believe you're right. I think Adrian Martinez deserves the start, but it'll be a quick trigger if he has to go to the bench and bring in Matt Corral, because they're very confident in Matt Corral. Hell, their third-string guy led them to a championship a couple of years ago. Was it Jamar Smith?
Well, every year when they've won the championship, it's always been a different guy who was supposed to be the starting quarterback to start the year.
That's incredible. They were down in this game, and I watched both games. They were down, was it 18-6?
I believe it was 18-3.
18-3. And I put a play on Birmingham. I thought they'd come back and win. They're loaded. That team is loaded with talent, and they came back and won. The coach is really good. I loved him being mic'd up. They had some great stuff from Skip. And as you said, Matt Corral, to have Matt Corral off the bench to be able to bring him in. Matt Corral was a first-round draft pick of the Carolina Panthers, and he showcased what he's still capable of doing.
Was it a first-rounder?
Well, whatever it was.
Third-rounder, I believe it was.
Okay. But he was penciled in as going to be the future starter, I believe, in Carolina. And then it just didn't work out. I still think Matt Corral can get another look. I think Martinez may get a look with an NFL team one day. I mean, with all the quarterbacks that we see in the National Football League, how many they go through each and every year? Those two guys? But anyway, Birmingham gets the win. I don't know. Birmingham's attendance started to go down. Maybe just oversaturated. So many games. Maybe they're getting too accustomed to winning, the Birmingham fans, so there's no thrill for them. I can't imagine how many people go to St. Louis. It's not that too bad of a drive. It's probably, about 7 hours, 8 hours?
Probably 7.
Okay. But San Antonio, I can't imagine there's going to be more than 6,000 fans. I mean, they're asking the St. Louis fans to basically come back and support these two teams in their stadium after their team got knocked out, and all they've been doing is supporting the Battlehawks. That's a big ask for St. Louis football fans, but they are great. St. Louis football fans are great, but I do not expect by any stretch of the imagination them to have over 10,000 people. I think it'll be a lot less, and if St. Louis was in, it would have been 40,000 people. But it is what it is. You know, it shows you they don't fix anything. They can't control it. The Brahmas from San Antonio, they were just a better team. 25-15 over St. Louis. They dominated defensively. They had 410 total yards of offense. McFadden, the former Maryland Terrapin, was fantastic. Who's the quarterback? Garbers.
Mm-hmm.
He was good.
Yeah, Wade Phillips did an outstanding job. And they were incredible on defense. Wade Phillips knows a thing or two about defense, and they had an incredible year, and to go into St. Louis and get that win, pretty darn impressive. But yeah, I don't. Obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of St. Louis fans that bought their tickets ahead of time because they thought they would be in the championship game. Now, what they'll do with those tickets, I don't know. But I don't know how many fans they could possibly get with it being Birmingham versus San Antonio in St. Louis. But it's, Birmingham, I think they announced 10,000 for the game on Saturday. Something, I think it was just over 10,000 or somewhere in that range that they announced for the game. Which, again, people that talk about Memphis and how they're going to move the team. Where are you moving it to? When a team that has 4 losses in 3 years for a playoff game can only draw 10,000 in one of the most football crazy cities there is in the country. So what market do you think you're going to suddenly move the showboats to that you're going to get St. Louis type crowds?
I'll be crazy. I'll be curious. I am crazy. I'll be curious to see what the numbers were from this past weekend. If they were consistent around the 850,000, 900,000 viewing. Because they have been very happy with the TV viewing. Now, would they have been happy with this 10 years ago? No. But they're happy now. For whatever the reason is, they're happy with those numbers. They'd like them more, but they're happy with the numbers. Those networks need programming, and they got programming. But they would also like to see fannies in the seats. And that ain't going to change. I'm in agreement with Dave Woloshin. That is not going to change unless those teams come to the city. And it doesn't appear that that's going to happen.
But again, I mean, to me, that's a weird excuse to say I'm not going to support the team because they don't live in the city.
No, it's a weird. No, it's
that makes no sense to me.
No, the reason to not support saying that it doesn't make sense to me either. But not caring at all about the team just because you don't care about it is, I understand. And then also that you don't have that connection. Whereas if they were here, then maybe you gain a little bit more of a connection. They're here. They're in the community. You hear about them. I know they've done everything they needed to do within the rules and confinements of having to live in Arlington for most of the week. That when they come here, they do something. It's admirable. It's certainly not enough. The league is doing a disservice by having all those teams in one area, in one pod. But I understand why they're doing it. For financial reasons. It's not going to work, I don't think, long term. I think the city needs to have those teams. But then again, are they looking at ownership and who right now would want to purchase? Maybe St. Louis would get owners, but who would want to purchase it right now in most of these cities where they're not drawing?
And television-wise, last with the game last night to go against the NBA Finals. Again, I know Fox probably just wanted the programming in that spot, but that's
exactly right.
They're like, I can't imagine the numbers last night are going to be great. Saturdays could have been good, and I'm sure I would have guessed that Saturdays will probably kind of be in the range that they've been in, around that 800,000 to 1 million. As far as the average viewers go, but last night, it's a tough ask. I want to see what last night's was able to draw going against an NBA Finals game.
I don't know what other people's viewing habits are. There are some people that I think you have multiple TVs. I don't like watching two things at once, but what I do like doing is flipping around. So I will flip to 3, 4, 5 different sporting events. Like watch a little here of the USFL. I'm in the UFL. I was watching Live. That's 2 tournaments in a row. I was watching Live. It was the Houston Open. I enjoyed it. I was watching the PGA Tour. I was flipping around and watching obviously the Phillies were playing, so I was watching them too. I was watching the Super Regionals, but I'm watching little bits at a time. I don't know how television ratings work with somebody like me that's flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. Or I don't know how it works when you have 3 TVs set up in your man cave and you're watching 3 different games. I don't know ratings. I used to when I was in television with Arbitron, and they used to get books and things of that nature, and you'd fill out the book and your viewing habits, and they would go off of, let's say 1,000 metered homes, and then books that were sent to another 500 people, and that would be the ratings, and that would encompass, 1 million, an area with 1 million people. It boggles my mind, but I understand they can't do something with everybody and their television viewing habits. It's impossible, and financially you can't do it either. But I'll be curious to see how that happens or how that works when you're flipping around things. And then, of course, you got the live stream that goes into play with a lot of sporting events. But, yeah, last night there's no chance that they did well going head-to-head against the NBA. But Saturday afternoon when it was going on, a bunch of different things that were happening, may have done okay. Wayne is dialed in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, 901-360-8255. Good morning, Wayne.
Hey, top of the day to you, fellas.
You too.
I just wanted to mention, it's kind of ironic that San Antonio's going to the championship game. I recall when the second game of the season when they were here in Memphis. And,
yes.
I don't know if you've seen any of their games, but they got a guy that wears a big old sombrero hat, dressed fully in Mexican outfit, and that whole group of people was in front of me for the entire game. Matter of fact, they had my seat, so I just let them have it. But anyway, they were thumping us the whole game, and then we came back there in the second half and took the lead. And I'll never forget, with 48 seconds left in the game, I went down there and shook all of their hands and, thanked them for driving up to Memphis for the game and all. And we started walking out of the stadium with an 11-point lead, 48 seconds left, man.
Little did you know.
I could get to my car, the game was over in their favor. But just ironic that I think that's how close, Memphis could have had. If that game, who knows, if Memphis would have pulled that off, and what could have been. But I hope the UFL makes it. I've been with them ever since they came back, and just want to say congratulations to David Davis for getting picked up.
Yeah.
By the NFL. That guy was fun to watch. And but anyway, they got San Antonio does have that. If you watch any of the game, you'll see that guy in a sombrero hat.
Oh yeah.
But,
he's very prominent. I'm sure he will be in. I'm sure he will be in St. Louis this weekend.
Check him out. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate the phone call.
Bye.
You too. And they need more fans like Wayne here in Memphis. But who was it? Harry Carey, right? Look out for the guy in the sombrero. But, yeah, I think his point is well taken. Even John DeFilippo, when we had him on last week, the coach of the Showboats, kind of indicated this. He didn't say, well, it's absolutely the reason why our season went south and their season blossomed. But it was only game 2, but it was a pivotal point in the season. That meltdown by Memphis affected them. Coach even admitted to it, and it seemed to spur on San Antonio. No pun intended, not San Antonio Spurs. We're talking about the Brahmas. And now all of a sudden they're in the UFL championship game. I don't know. One game doesn't make a season, but that was a game changer for both teams and sending them in different directions.
Well, I get blowing an 11-point lead in 48 seconds.
It's unheard of.
There has to be there has to be some lingering effect to that. Again, now does it mean you go on an 8-game losing streak? No, but that is one that's certainly got to be tough to get over.
Of course,
they gave up 14 yards in the first half of that game against San Antonio, and they dominated it in the first half, and then the second half, San Antonio started moving the ball, but still, you had an 11-point lead in the final minute of the game and couldn't hold on to that. So yes, there had to be some lingering effect, and how much of a positive effect that had on San Antonio, I don't know. But San Antonio all year, their defense was really, really good. Again, Wade Phillips knows a thing or two about defense.
Sure does.
That guy's made a pretty good career out of coaching defense, and they had a really good defense, and they got Garbers back healthy, and he was good, and their offense has certainly picked it up.
How about the championship game features Skip Holtz, the son of the great Lou Holtz, Wade Phillips, the son of the great Bum Phillips.
They got some genes.
They got some lineage.
There's some coaching genes there.
No question about it. Sad news from the world of sports over the weekend. Chet the Jet Walker, one of the greats from Chicago Bulls lore, passed away at the age of 84. I remember as a kid when I was starting to watch the NBA, the Bulls team had Chet Walker, Bob Love. I think, did they have Bob Weiss on that team? They had Boerwinkle, the big center. I remember from my trading cards. But Chet Walker and Bob Love. Chet Walker, just like Bob Love, a Hall of Famer, passes away at the age of 84. And this was sad. And I don't know, Chet Walker was 84. Pete Maravich's son, Josh Maravich, was half that age. He was 42. The son of the great Pete Maravich passed away over the weekend. Josh, I don't know why or how, what he died from. But, man, anybody who dies at the age of 42, of course, Pete's father died suddenly on a basketball court. And I'm not sure if there was anything heart-related with Josh, but he dies at the age of 42. And, again, Chet the Jet Walker passes away at the age of 84. We need to take a time out. When we come back, something I want to get off my chest. We also want to talk a little bit about the Belmont Stakes that happened over the weekend. Our insider, Ed DeRosa, said he's picking an upset winner. He's taking out the champion or the favorite, and he's going to put him aside. And he was right, but he didn't pick the right upset winner. We'll talk about that when we return. And we'll get back into the NBA with the NBA Finals now 2-0 Boston, and the big decision today that will be announced by Dan Hurley. I think that decision has been made. It's just a matter of when will he announce it. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:25 is the time. If you missed this from the weekend, Jay Ducker, former Memphis Tiger running back who went into the portal, has announced he's transferring to Sam Houston State. And on the basketball front, Carl Sharonfont, the last of the 4 players to hit the portal for Memphis, along with Ashton Hardaway, Jalen Young, and Jonathan Pierre, he is headed to New Mexico State. So we wish Jay and Carl the best of luck. As far as Memphis is concerned, they have still not added another player since the David Jones news. They did add the kid from Texas, so I'm wrong about that, but he is not expected to be some big impact player. But will they be able to land a big fish? That's still to be determined. I know there was a kid, and I forget his name, who they were looking at, or at least was out there as reportedly they were looking at, and the kid was interested in Memphis. He ended up going to Seton Hall, and I forget his name. His numbers weren't good, his offensive numbers, but was a pretty good defensive player. So we'll see what happens. I still think Penny's going to add a player. It's just a question of when.
I'm sure he is working hard in the portal to try and get somebody, but and there are still plenty of kids in the portal. Now, how many of them are actually impact players, that I do not know, but I would say there was probably a pretty good chance that, yes, that somebody will be added.
The Belmont Stakes was held this year at Saratoga on Saturday. It will next year as well, as they're doing some massive renovations to Belmont Park. And Dornick was the upset winner, 17-1, winning the Belmont Stakes. One of the co-owners of the horse, Jason Worth, the former major leaguer, won a World Series title with the Phillies. I'm hoping it's an omen for this year and the Phillies to win another one. But Dornick was the winner. We had Ed DeRosa, our horse racing insider, on Friday, and he went with a trifecta of long shots. But he said, if anything, Sierra Leone, you put him in your trifecta and all that. And Sierra Leone ended up finishing third, was the heavy favorite, but came on late. But Dornick never ran out of juice and ended up getting the win. So now you have, for the Triple Crown races, 3 different winners. You had Mystic Dan, the upset winner at the Derby. You had Seize the Gray win the Preakness. And now Dornick wins the Belmont. So I would imagine that the 3-year-old of the year will be determined more than likely at the Breeders' Cup. I don't know if there's a clear-cut horse of the year.
Yeah, I don't know, but that was for Dornick at 17-1. If you did hit on him, congratulations.
Yeah, for Ed,
I did not.
He took a shot with a different long. Although the horse you remember it was a Subterranean or something like that. What was it?
Antiquary.
Antiquary. Yes, that's what it was. He ended up going off, I think, as 4th favorite, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had Antiquarian, Wine Steward, and Resilience, I believe it was.
Yeah, so.
Were the 3 that he had.
Did not work out.
In his trifecta. 6 straight years now that there have been 3 different horses that won each of the Triple Crown races.
Wow. Very interesting. This is off the sports beaten path here, but I wanted to bring this up. I saw the story from the Commercial Appeal, and it's entitled, Memphis is the most dangerous metro area for pedestrians, data shows. Why is that? ? This on the heels of, a week ago, Consumer Report claiming that statistically, and they have the numbers to back it up, Memphis has the most driving fatalities in the entire country. So I'm thinking it's a combination of 2 things. One, we have bad drivers who drive over people and crash into other cars and things of that nature. And number 2, we have pedestrians a lot of times who do not use the crosswalks, do not go across during where a light is. That happens all the time. Now, I think inside a little neighborhood, that's fine. But if you're trying to cross Union or Poplar or Madison or wherever, do it at a light. I know you don't want to walk down to the light, I know, but do it at a light. I think that's a problem too. I don't know how many times, whoa, where did that dude come from? Cross at the light, where it's the pedestrian crossing, especially with those dangerous roads, because even though you think you're clear, somebody's coming out of nowhere. And you combine that with bad drivers and fatalities, that's what you get. I think it's a pretty easy answer to why.
You also have the chance of a mattress flying off of a car and hitting you upside the head.
The preceding announcement made on behalf of Major League Baseball. Again, just to recap, in case you were in a cave last night, Boston beat Dallas 105-98, have a 2-0 lead going back to Dallas. Kendrick Perkins, and I don't have the exact quote. Eli. Zach, if you can find it, he had something to say this morning, Perkins, about Kyrie Irving I don't want to misquote it, but but just paraphrasing it, he's blaming it on Irving. He's blaming Dallas being in the hole because Irving hasn't shown up.
I think
is there truth to that?
Absolutely. Again, the only way Dallas was going to win this series is by Doncic and Irving being great. Irving has been far from great. He's shot poorly in both games. He hasn't made a three-pointer yet in the series through 2 games. He's been bad, and they have no chance at winning with him being bad. So, yeah, I think that's certainly is a huge part of why Dallas is in an 0-2 hole. But again, it's not, it is a tougher matchup for him than what he's faced. Like Boston, again, defensively has done a great job. They've got guys who can guard him. That's the health of Porzingis. What did he do to that leg last night? Is it something that keeps him out? Because he, as the last line of defense, as the rim protector, makes a massive difference for Boston's defense. It allows those guys to be a little bit more aggressive out on the perimeter, because if he does get around you, like having that dude at the rim, he's tough to shoot over. Big difference between him and Al Horford when it comes to rim protection. So we'll have to see. He's supposed to have some imaging done today. They do have the 2 full off days, with Game 3 not being until Wednesday, which could help. But did he re-aggravate the calf strain that kept him out before? Was it something else? We don't know exactly what it was that he did to that leg that had him limping for a while last night, and then eventually they took him out of the game for the rest of the way. So if he misses some time, does that help Dallas, and can they get back into the series? Certainly, it certainly helps them. Whether that means they win games or not, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think certainly if you don't have Porzingis, it helps Dallas, but I don't know if it necessarily helps them enough to win games and win the series, because I think even without Porzingis, Boston has enough. They do. They're even without, and Porzingis has, that first game was incredible, but even yesterday in Game 2, he had a really good block. Getting back on defense, he's so long and athletic, and he's able to, I forget who it was, maybe it was P.J. Washington, somebody on a break, he was able to get there and block a shot. So he is more active than Horford on the defensive end. But I still think even with Al, even old Al has contributed a lot to this team. And with Holiday and White and Brown and the way those guys are playing defense, they're making it awfully tough on Kyrie and company. Kyrie shooting 35% from the field. As you said, has not hit a three-pointer. He's averaging 14 a game. If you don't have Porzingis and Kyrie is scoring the ball like he normally does and is dishing like he normally does and is getting to the hole and Luke is doing his thing, then you give him certainly a chance, more than a boxer's chance to win this thing. But as far as defensively, Boston doesn't have to change a thing. Just keep doing what they're doing. They don't have to adjust. Dallas is going to have to figure out how to adjust.
So I found, I'm not sure if Kendrick Perkins is talking about Drew Holiday outplaying Kyrie, but that was the clip that I found of Kendrick Perkins talking about it. But unless there's like a...
Well, you got a clip right now you can play?
Yeah.
Go ahead and play it.
The thing, right? Drew Holiday has really outplayed Kyrie in Game 1 and Game 2. He's been outplaying Kyrie in this series. Last night was a prime example of what he brings to the table. When you talk about the paint points, Legs talked about this. We're talking about a Celtic team who live and die by the three, but Drew Holiday set the tone by going to the paint. Now, when it comes down to the Celtics, think about Game 1, think about Game 2. We have seen so many powerful plays out of the Boston Celtics defensively, going back to Jaylen Brown with a big block in Game 1 on Kyrie Irving. Jaylen Brown with another defensive pickup 94 feet on Luka and gets a steal. Then he backdoors and gets another steal. Then he goes verticality with Derrick Jones and gets a block on the back line of the defense. And then when you think about last night, Drew Holiday picking up 94 feet again, forcing the steal on Luka Doncic. And then the last play, Derrick White, one of the plays at the end of the game, Derrick White coming up huge for a block. Dallas is not making those plays.
He's absolutely right. And I don't know if it's because they are dialed in better than Dallas. There's more chemistry there. Because Dallas, the run through the playoffs that they've made to get to this point have been pretty good. Good cohesiveness, good chemistry. But Boston's on a mission because we've talked about it ad nauseum. If Boston doesn't win the championship, they're not going to sit back and go, you know what, it was a great year. We won the Eastern Conference Championship, and that's what's really important. We didn't get it done. We came up a little short in the NBA Finals. No. They're going to be pissed, and so are the fans, and it's going to be a rough offseason. We even had Sean Devaney go as far as saying that if they lost to Dallas, Missoula, not a guarantee that he'd be back as their head coach. So they are on a mission. Dallas has not been able to live up to that intensity in the finals. They have been beaten in every facet of the game. And mentally, I think right now, Boston is way stronger and way more tuned in as a team, knowing what their mission is. I don't think Dallas is there just thinking, we're happy to be there. But Doncic is playing at one level, and he's not 100%, and all the rest of the guys are playing at another level. And Kyrie has to play, and has done many times in the playoffs, play at Luka's level or even above at times. He's not even close to that right now.
Kyrie in the Western Conference Finals averaged 27 points per game on 49% shooting, 37% from three. In the first two games, he's averaging 14 points on 35% shooting and hasn't made a three. So he's basically averaging half the points he averaged in the last series and shooting at a much lower percentage than he did in the Western Conference Finals when he was terrific. I mean, he was absolutely terrific in the Western Conference Finals. It may not have been realistic to think he was going to do, certainly wasn't realistic to probably think he was going to do that in the NBA Finals, but they can't afford him to average 14 points a game and think they're going to be able to beat the Boston Celtics. He's going to have to be probably over 20 points a game.
Yeah.
And then Luka has to be consistently over 30 and probably going to have to be near 40 for them to have a chance to come back and win this series.
Who's the guy, Bob, the former GM of the Warriors?
Bob Myers.
Bob Myers asked the question to the panel last night after the game, through two games, who's the MVP? And they all threw out names. Holiday, I think two of them threw out, and I think one or two threw out Jaylen Brown. And you could easily say, oh, yeah, through two games, that guy. But then I think it was Wilbon who said Brad Stevens.
That was Bob Myers who said.
Oh, it was Bob Myers? Okay. So Bob Myers is absolutely correct. And, of course, he's a GM who's put together teams in Golden State and has had a lot of success. So he's thinking as a GM would think. But, yes, and we talked about this a little bit in hour number one. The moves that they have made in the offseason over the last few years to be able to acquire Drew Holiday and then to acquire Kristaps Porzingis are just phenomenal. Plus, they've been able to draft well. They've been able to develop players. And they've gone through the coaches with the whole Udoka situation. Brad Stevens, of course, originally stepping down as the coach to do general manager and president duties. And now Missoula. They've gone through a lot in the front office. But the moves that they have made Boston a really good team into a championship team and maybe a team that's more than likely going to win it. I had a buddy of mine who texted me and he said that he thinks that Denver getting upset by Minnesota changed the whole complexity of everything. That he feels if Denver was in the final, that they would be able to give Boston a great run, a much better run than what Minnesota would have been able to do, Oklahoma City would have been able to do, or what Dallas is doing. And I can't argue that. But Denver got beat, and it happens.
Don't let the rising costs and high interest rates out there bum you out. Right now at Genesis Diamonds, they are rolling it all back. You know you get great prices all the time when you're over at Genesis Diamonds on their incredible selection of jewelry, line after line of jewelry that nobody else in town carries. When you're talking about the diamonds, whether it be natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, they have unbelievable pricing and an unbelievable selection. Direct importer pricing, taking out the middleman. Right now, this month at Genesis Diamonds, not only can you get those great prices and that unbelievable selection, you can get 0 interest financing for 5 years on any purchase. That's right. Whatever it is, pick any item, pay 0 down, spread your payments out over 5 years. So it might be an engagement ring, might be a wedding band, color bands, fashion necklaces, earrings, even the pre-owned Rolex watches, everything there right now. Up to 5 years, 0 interest financing at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Again, that goes through this month, through June 30th, all month long. You could take advantage of this amazing special deal. 5 years, 0 interest financing on approved credit at Genesis Diamonds.
Speaking of Denver, Nikola Jokic has been included, as expected, in the Serbian national team's roster for the Paris Olympic Games. When we come back, our friend Michael Cole joins us every Wednesday. He's put together his mock draft. What the Grizzlies will do at number 9. Wanted to discuss that and some possibilities. You still have time to get in a phone call if you'd like, or a text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli locations at Ridgeway in the Parkplace Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Got a car-loving dad? Nice. We've got a Father's Day sale. Right now, our Armor All Ultimate 8-piece bucket kit is just $25. That's soap, a wash mitt, wheel cleaner, tire shine, glass wipes, and interior wipes. Plus, a bucket to use for the wash. All for just $25 at the AutoZone Father's Day sale. Now through the 16th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Ignite your desire at Sissy's Log Cabin with our exclusive Facets of Fire Diamond. Created through the first diamond cutting advancement in over a century, the Facets of Fire Diamond features more brilliance than any other. With its burst of fiery color, this diamond is passion personified. Shop Facets of Fire at sissyslogcabin.com or in store and experience the evolution in diamonds only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:46 is the time. To Michael Cole, who joins us every Wednesday here on the program from the Commercial Appeal, put together his first mock draft. We're closing in on the draft. I think it's 2 weeks from Thursday. That's round one, and then they'll have round two on Friday. First time that they'll have 2 nights of the NBA draft. His first pick is Alex Sarr with the Atlanta Hawks. I think most people believe that that will be the case. The Wizards' second pick is Zachary Richesher, and I'm probably butchering that name. Like him an awful lot. He's got the Rockets taking Reed Shepherd at number 3. Rockets are going to be an interesting team because Steven Adams, assuming he's back healthy, I still believe that Houston's going to make a deal. Trying to acquire Mikal Bridges. Houston's going to be very interesting out there in the West. With the Spurs number 4 pick, they got him, or DeMichael has them taking Nikola Topic, who we know has a partially torn ACL. I wonder if that will factor in at all, but he's got him taking him 4. Number 5, the Pistons. Stephon Castle. Very early. Another young kid to throw in the mix in Detroit. Number 6 for Charlotte, Matas Buzelis from G League Ignite. Number 7, Portland, Cody Williams from Colorado. He's a name that I have not heard of. I know of him. I'm not saying his name's not been thrown out there as a lottery pick. It has, but it's probably down the list of names that I hear. Number 8.
For a while during the season, some people had him as the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, as far as recently looking at mocks, he hasn't been up there that high. I'm not in love with the guy, but a lot of people are. Spurs at number 8, their second pick in the first round. He's got him taking Donovan Clingan. And then with the Grizzlies, the number 9 overall, he's got him taking Dalton Connect. So I got 2 questions. One, again, this is one person's opinion, but Clingan, he's around 8. Man, now, with 2 picks with San Antonio, would they be able to, instead of taking Topic, take Clingan early and then hope that Topic is around for the next pick? Or are they taking a chance that he could be gone even though he's hurt? Because if Memphis moved ahead of San Antonio with that 8th pick, in this case, this scenario, they could get themselves Clingan. I don't think Clingan will be available at 8, but that's a very interesting scenario. And the second one is, at number 9, with Dalton Connect, is he the best of everybody else that would be available? In this case, Ron Holland, Rob Dillingham, some of those bigs that people like, including Khalil Ware, which I know DeMichael likes from Indiana, Kyle Filipowski from Duke, and then Zach Edey from Purdue. And I know people have shunned that pick at number 9 for Zach Edey. It's not going to happen, and I don't think it will either. But I'm reading Jonathan Givony and his analysis on Edey. He said he's a dream target to pair with playmaking guards in pick-and-roll actions. He sets wide, bruising screens at 7'5", 298, and is nearly unstoppable rolling to the paint and catching everything thrown his way with his huge magnetic hands and 7'11" wingspan. 7'11" wingspan. So what am I missing here? Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. What am I missing? That's the person that the Grizzlies are looking for, I would think. That's who they need. I'm not saying Edey exactly, but that type of player that sets screens, that's good in pick and roll, that could finish at the rim, that plays defense. He's just not this guy that's up and down the court like a Wembanyama can move for as big as he is. But you're trying to find
But the whole question, can he play defense on the NBA? Can he guard? Because they're just going to put him in ball screen actions, and he can't guard out on the perimeter.
Yeah, but, you have...
He doesn't get to just stand in front of the rim like he did in college.
No, but he can rebound the basketball. And with Jaren Jackson Jr., he's the guy who can defend that perimeter offensive player and a guy drives to the hole. Jaren Jackson Jr. can defend. He can defend anybody, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's just not a great rebounder, and he's not a great screener of the ball. So is that the type of guy? Now, Klingon to me is the guy if you can get him. So that's why I think you move up and you try to make a move to get up to get Klingon. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm reading what Gavoni is talking about, and it just doesn't sound as crazy as it did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't think Zach Edey could play defense in the NBA. I could be proven wrong, but I just don't think he would be able to play defense in the NBA.
Here's another scary thing. I'm not saying he's a similar player to Hashim Thabit, but gosh bless it, if you took another big, well, it wouldn't be number one, it wouldn't be that high, but if you took a number 9 pick, that's a lottery pick, big center, and ends up being a dud, boy, we'll have some flashbacks, and they won't be pretty. That's the chance you take. But, again, Dalton Connect at 9, if Klingon's gone and that's your guy, what do you think about that pick?
I would be happy. Add shooting. Obviously a big-time scorer. I would be fine with Dalton Connect.
I like Connect a lot. Do you like Connect over those other guys that were behind him? I read you that list. Ron Holland.
I like Rob Dillingham a lot, but I would be fine with Connect. I'd be fine with either one of those two. Connect bigger. The shooting, certainly. Again, this team you can always, in today's basketball, any time you get extra shooting, I'm never going to complain about that.
Okay. What about Shepard going that high at number 3?
There's a lot of people that really love him, so I won't be surprised at all if he goes that high. He is very highly rated by a lot of people. And I'm sure there's a lot of teams that love him. There are probably other teams that may not, but it only takes one up there. And I could certainly see him ending up going that high.
We were talking earlier, actually it was
What's this bone you have to pick that you still...
That was it, about the travel, about the traffic, about...
Oh.
Yeah, why is it even a question? We have the worst drivers, that's documented, the most fatalities, and we have people crossing in the middle of boulevards. I mean, no wonder we have the most fatalities for pedestrians as well. It's like, come on, just use your head. It's not that hard to figure out. I mean, they asked the question. The commercial appeal story was like, why? Why is it? Why?
Well, I assume that did the story answer the question? Because that was the headline you read.
That's all. Yeah, I can't get the story. I'm not.
I'm sure the story answered the question.
Well,
so what's the bone? Like, what are you upset with?
Oh, no. I'm just in the bone about driving and pedestrians, about just the whole vehicular situation and scene here in Memphis. That was my bone to pick. We were talking earlier, I was doing this during my Memphis Sports Fact in the second hour about the visit from Antoine Hill Jr., the quarterback from Houston County High School in Georgia. Our buddy Jonah Dillon from the Commercial Appeal tweets out, expect Hill to announce his commitment in mid-July. But there will be, and has been, a lot of heavy suitors that will be offering a lot of money. Memphis is in a better position to offer more NIL-wise, but also the history doesn't hurt with quarterbacks for Memphis. And the fact that the guy would more than likely be walking into a situation where he could start right away, like Hennigan did 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure I would think that would be an attractive thing. Now, the question would be, would he stay here for 4 years if he did walk in and be the starter right away? That could be another question. But they've been able to hold on to Seth Hennigan for 4 years, so maybe they can do that with another guy if they come in and start and have success right away.
Damn, 2 Uber drivers were attacked at Memphis International Airport around 12:30 a.m. in the cell phone lot. One driver was shot. The other driver was beaten up. Yeesh. That's not good. I did hear this, though, on Saturday. About 10 gunshots. I actually heard that not far from where I live. That was a little bit scary. You know, if it's like 1 or 2, sometimes it's the car with the what do you call it? Backfiring. But that was a little bit dangerous. NASCAR Kyle Larson wins his 26th career Cup race. That dude has been unbelievable. Of course, he's the guy who raced at Indy and ended up missing the Coca-Cola 600 and then got the waiver and is now able to race in the playoffs. I don't think it was he was going to be denied, but it took a little bit longer than expected. He wins the Save Mart 350 race. That's a road race out at the road course in Sonoma. And again, for all you tennis fans out there, Carlos Alcaraz wins the French Open men's singles title in 5 sets. That's his third major. He's now he's won Wimbledon, he's won the U.S. Open, he's won the French Open, so needs only an Australian Open singles title to complete the career Grand Slam. He beat Alexander Zverev in the 5 sets. And congratulations to Coco Gauff. She didn't win the singles title, but she did win the doubles title. So she wins a major at the French Open. That'll do it for us today. We appreciate you listening. Thank you to your folks for your calls and your texts. Tomorrow we're going to be very busy. KJ Wright's going to join us at 8:05, the former Seattle Seahawks linebacker. He will be having another one of those celebrity basketball games to raise money that he does in his native Mississippi. And we'll talk to KJ, who's now a coach on the San Francisco 49ers staff. 9:05, Mickey Barker will join us for our weekly golf segment. And then more golf at 9:30. The great Steve Sands from the Golf Channel on NBC will be joining us to break down the U.S. Open, which gets underway Thursday in North Carolina at Pinehurst number 2. Coming up next, it's Waldo and Friends on Sports 56. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.